All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope you don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 162 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill. I am joined today by Andy.
What's up, everybody?
And the voice of reason, 69th Blizzard on the board, Ken.
Hello.
And partner in crime for the weekend, Lonnie, St. Louis Kiss.
What's up?
Gentlemen, let's do some news. It's obvious what we're going to be talking about today, but when I got back from Atlanta, sitting on my desk was Alan's absolutely exquisite Kiss Budokan 78 magazine. I'm not going to show you anything inside of it because you got to buy it for yourself. It is sick. It is insane. It is wonderful. If you think Alan did fantastic and beautiful work with his previous publications, this one may well be my favorite of the lot. It is just absolutely beautiful. So where can you find Alan? Baelish@gmail.com. That is Balish. Baelish. I say Baelish just because I've been in America a long time, and that's how we do A's here. Other news. This is important. Kiss Army Warehouse, our friends there, have announced the 20th anniversary Indie Expo. And you know what? I'm doing a dealer table there this year. I'm making my return, my first time back in Indy since 2000, which was then my second and their third expo there. So I can't wait. That is the
We might suck it up and go.
Oh, you should. I think it might.
The first time. If we do it, will be the first time.
They'll
probably be run a little bit better.
It will be
We'll get
run
into that.
a damn sight better. Of course, all the people involved in that have done a great job of it over the years, and it has grown, has a great reputation. So that's being held in Indy, May 12th and 13th. And again, I'll be there. If you bought any of our books previously, you want them signed, bring them on in. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Also announced, August the 25th in Nashville at the Palace, the Rockin' Pod Expo 2. If you missed it last year, it's going to be bigger and better. Obviously, a lot of lessons were learned about how to kind of do it. It's a podcast theme. Obviously, there are a lot of KISS podcasts, but there's also a lot of not KISS podcasts. Some of the great ones like Talking Metal were there last year. Lee McCormick and the Tramps Like Us podcast. Joe Lamoureux. All tons of non-KISS related, but there's also KISS. And last year, there were record dealers. So right now, that one's being put together, but August the 25th. Speaking of Nashville, Derek Christopher is hinting at a possible expo there featuring.
It's not hinting. He already put it up.
Okay,
He didn't put a date, but he already put up.
No date
Nashville.
yet. No date yet, but he's hinting
so you
that.
know what's going to happen.
Well,
Ching, ching, ching. I'm on the money hog mode, so let's just take it while I can get it. Okay, we'll go there after.
So we'll go there after. Of course, if that happens, then I will be there. I've already posted some pictures of a Nashville-specific book. And Nashville also, the vault is coming up there, and Vinnie said yes. He is going to show up at Gene's Nashville Vault event to get his copy of the vault and see those two on stage for the first time since 1984. So who knows what may happen? While we're talking about a vault, hey Ken, did you get your vault yet?
The law now, so
Yeah, Ken, did you get your vault yet?
Ken, do you have a vault? Are you
No.
Are you listening to it?
Yeah.
Do you have a?
Okay, here.
Tell us about it. What's going on?
Give us
Ken
the
bought a vault?
Let me give you the timeline of this thing. Okay, I got this all on paper here. I wrote it all down. So I ordered it, of course, the first day it was available on September 12th. Okay. October, we got an email saying, hey, you're scheduled for January 6th of the vault experience. I said, okay, that's cool. 12/5, December 5th, we get a email saying the pre-pack is shipping. That's that pre-pack where it gives you the gold ticket and this Gene Simmons vault shirt and so on, and the lanyard and whatever. But 3 days later, it says, oh, that's been delayed because, well, we had the fires in L.A., which I understand. But that was pretty bad stuff going on down there. And, so nothing to complain about that. But then you had on 12/14, we were given two options to either pick up our vault when we're down there, when we go meet Gene Simmons and so on, or we can get it shipped for free shipping. So they were just going to ship it free. So I chose, since I didn't know if I was going to be able to fit in my car, and I didn't know if I wanted to lug it around or whatever. I said, well, I'll get it shipped. So I chose that option, and then on 12/15 the next day, they updated. They said, well, yeah, we updated your order for shipping. Okay, that's cool. Everything's going good. So then 12/19. Or no, 12/15, another email comes out saying Vault will begin shipping early January. Okay, that's the key thing here. Early January is going to be shipping, and with a 6 to 8, they said 6 to 8 week delivery. And then I would also at that time receive my tracking number. I said, okay, all right, fine. Then 4 days later, we get another email from the customer service there, and says your vault will be shipped 4 to 6 weeks before your vault experience. Okay, well, at that time, that's 2 weeks, around 2 weeks or so before our experience. I was like, well, wait a minute, how is it going to be shipped 4 to 6 weeks? Well, so far, that didn't happen. Maybe it's going to happen down the road for some people. I don't know, but that never happened. So then 12/21, I get another email saying it's going to be shipped early January again. Okay. Then on 1/2, we get details about the vault and where to meet and the itinerary, the schedule and all that stuff, where to park. Also, we got another one on the day before, the 5th, Friday the 5th of January, saying, where to park and where to line up at the Capitol building. So that was all cool. All right. So when I was at that experience, and I mentioned this before, I talked to Sherry there, who's actually a very nice person, and it's been a lot of the emails going back and forth, had said that I don't think they shipped out yet, because I asked her, did they ship? She goes, no. Yeah, thanks, Julian.
Kind of showing off a little bit.
Then Keith was there. He said, "No, I think they shipped last Thursday or something like that." But that was even wrong at that point. So I was confused at that point. So then on the 9th, I sent an email and asked them about it. They said, "We don't know when the vaults are going to ship." It's like, what?
And that is 3 days after your freaking vault experience.
Yeah, and I could have picked up one there. They were going to allow me to pick up one until I told them. I said, no, I got mine being shipped to me.
You were honest.
I'm honest. You're right. I'll try. So then also on the 9th, received photos. We got the photos, from that event. All right. On the 10th, Keith, I was in contact with Keith, and he said he's getting on this stuff as soon as possible, kind of thing. So I thought, that's good. And then the 11th, they said on the 11th of January, said likely it will ship next week. That was on the 11th of January. Then 1 week later, on the 18th, it says it's going to be shipping Tuesday, which is the following week. So that's actually really 2 weeks from that prior. So they did ask me, or Sherry asked me about my Vault luggage tag, which I never received down in Los Angeles.
Oh, shit, really?
I never got one. No one told me about it. And no word. I didn't even see the table. I didn't even notice the table where I guess these things were on. So whatever. So anyway, she says she's going to get it manufactured and shipped out to me. Okay. So that's cool with that. So I will get that. All right. So 124. What was that? Yesterday?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I got an email saying they will be going out today. Well, that was the 24th yesterday, right? But then later in the day, I got another one saying it's been pushed to 1:30, which is next week. All right. Now. Yeah, I know.
On the second, you're going to get an email that's going to ask you, what's your address?
I already gave that. It's like a long time ago when they did ask if I wanted it shipped. So 125 today. there was, I guess Keith was inspecting the padded shipping boxes that they ordered because, they don't want it damaged, of course, during shipment. But they weren't up to snuff. So,
well, you trust me on this, that I picked up a box on the day of the vault to put mine in, thinking I wanted to protect it. I would not have want mine shipped in that fucking box. I mean, the foam.
part, right? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I
can't
hear
hear
you,
Andy.
I don't hear Andy
I
either.
can't
I don't hear
Andy.
Andy.
I think he's just melting. Anyway, I go on real quick. So today, so they said they were not adequate, so
Turn
they
your mic
will
on.
go out hopefully next Tuesday or on the 30th or whatever it is. And mine's supposed to be in that first shipment. I don't know. So that's the latest. So all you people out there who are on the fence about whether you want to
Fucking
ship
pick
it or
them
not,
up. Pick them up in person.
just pick it
Yeah,
up.
don't get them shipped.
Because
But-
I don't, as of right now, I don't know what's going on.
Well, Ken, I've
it's
got,
kind
I've
of-
actually got some very good news for you today. You are actually going to be receiving the bonus 12 CD, and here it is right here. You are going to be getting a copy of the bag
thank you.
CD in order to.
Why do
That's
you
what-
have that?
Yeah, why do you have that?
Why do you
So-
have that, Julian?
The deal is, I want to say though, you know what?
I wanted to try and find out who Bag was, and I did find out who he was from that. And then, of course, Gene put his real name in the vault anyway, so it all became.
I want to say customer service. Sherry,
Hey, we can hear you. I can hear
Yeah, I
you.
hear you.
Sherry has been very responsive and great, and trying to keep me updated, and is going to give me that tracking number if it ships out next week. So that looks good. And then, and Keith, I'm leaving him alone because he's a busy guy.
Yeah, and you know what? He's
You know.
he's been abused so badly on the Facebook group. And
Oh yeah, I got no
I hear you
sound.
now.
What's going on?
I can hear you now.
we can hear you.
Can hear you?
You, good.
I can't hear you guys.
Uh-oh.
Son of a bitch.
I think it might be Skype's anti-monologue filter.
Yeah. That's probably what it is.
I'm sorry, your rant has exceeded rant length.
Mine's about to end. Though.
Lonnie, can you hear us?
I hear you.
One
Yes.
last words.
Now I missed Ken's exciting end of his story.
You can watch.
Yeah.
You can watch the show.
I'm guessing.
Can
He still doesn't have the vault.
can you?
So wait a minute. So you actually vault.
Correct.
So you don't even have one signed to you from Gene standing there.
No, I have other things that I brought that were signed, but
Whoa. You should ask for another. Be able to go to another vault
You
experience
should be able to
and
go
have,
to another vault experience.
and have
There you
one
go.
signed to you, man. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. You know.
I mean, that's the whole thing, man. The guy's in front of you. You pay all the money. You want it signed to you, right?
are you recording? There it is. So what I'll do is when I finally do receive it, I'll make another report on one of the next episodes and let you know how whether it's damaged or not or whatever.
Whether it arrived
Just to
or
let,
not.
let you know, because I know we will do a podcast on probably a review of the things.
We are totally going to have to talk about the music, but let's go from one rant to the next. Andy, before we talk about the Atlanta KISS Expo specifically, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
How's your New York Peter Criss Expo photo? Did you get resolution out of that, or?
No.
Oh no!
Actually, I'll give an update because I knew you were gonna throw this in there, or I would at some point. Actually, I was very nice to Derek. I waited till everybody wasn't really around. Actually, when he stopped selling stuff to people, to get photographs and signatures for Vinnie. Walked up to him, kneeled in front of him, said, "Hey, Derek, my name's Andy. We had spoken over months and months about a file you owe me, Peter Criss," and he had no clue who I was, no clue about anything, and I had to kind of explain it to him, and he was like, "Oh," and then he says, "Well, did you get in touch with Brianna? That's the woman who supposedly took the photos that night. And I said, no, Derek, you were going to talk to Brianna. You never gave me any information about Brianna. So at this point, right now, Derek gave me his cell number to contact him in a week or two. So I'll actually give him an extra week because we will get into the stories of the stuff missing from the expo. So I'll give him an extra week or two. Then I'll text him and see if I can get Brianna's email or phone number or something to see if this woman may have the files from the KISS Expo. So that's how I'm going to leave that. That's how it left. So I was actually didn't get all wild up and fired up at him. I basically talked to him nicely because I would really like to have the file for Kim. You know, yeah. Like I said, I've met Peter in the past, so you know that whole shebang, wow, oh my God, you know, thing. But for her, it was like a, you know, once in a lifetime bang, you know, kind of thing. The whole crying thing, and I would like to get a file so I can make some nice, you know, some nice pictures for the future because the one that they left on the table is already starting to fade. So. Yeah. So we'll leave it at that. So we'll see. And, of course, I'll give an update, and hopefully he can give me the thing to get in touch with that woman so maybe I can get lucky and I get the files for the both, but 2 pictures, not just 1, 2. Because we did pay for 2 meet and greets that day. So anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, and just before we move on, let's just put a call out to the KISS Army. If anyone knows who that photographer was at the New York Peter Criss VIP experience, and you can pass on the email privately so that Andy can have it and follow up with her directly. We'd very much appreciate it. You know, you can find me on Facebook or on the KissFAQ if you want to just email it to me privately. We will not share it with anyone else other than Andy. And he can follow up, and if not, he'll get in touch with Derek in a couple of weeks. And
I understand there are other people missing their photos too. So
yeah, let's not try and play it down for any reason. It's a big deal. You've paid for it. It is. You deserve it.
Something you paid for.
We're going through it right now with the Atlanta photos. I've been in touch with the photographer there to try and get my freaking pictures because all of the links that were in the email that I never got have been deleted.
Did you get the one I sent you?
Yeah, most of the pictures have already been deleted from that Google Drive.
I sent you yours by itself too.
No, you didn't.
By the time
again. I thought I did yesterday.
I know we're jumping towards the end of what everything, but I was sent. Actually, I couldn't believe it. I was actually sent like 5 emails, and it had a ton load of pictures on it. So if I find,
and you had to sift through it to find it.
Yeah,
you have to shift for everyone to find your own photo. But if I find yours, Julian, or whoever's, if somebody's missing one.
Okay, let's go. Let's see what we can do with it. So, you know, if we got to just fucking suffer a little bit to get, I'm not doing this show without you, Andy.
No, we have to have Andy.
No, you're part of the story. All right, so you know, obviously we're having a few technical hiccups here today. Just deal with it and bear with us. We will. Let's talk about the Atlanta Expo. Andy, when did you arrive, and you know, and all that?
We arrived Friday. Friday morning, sometime around, by the time we actually got to the hotel, I think it was either 10 or 11 a.m. in the morning. So, and then basically what we did is we went up, got the room, and then we went upstairs to happen to see if anybody was around, like Derek, that would give out the stuff a little bit early, so we didn't have to come up back with the mosh pit, you know what I mean? But I figured with 100 people, well, technically only supposed to be 100 people, that we would get them and just, you know, get out of the way. You know, you figure to make it easy if you're, you know, if you're a person who runs this kind of stuff. Because remember, I do the parties for the before the cruise, and I do a bar crawl. So, you know, if you're there a little early, get some stuff done, get people out of the way. Everybody's happy, make everybody happy. So we went up there and grabbed our. I went upstairs to grab my VIP stuff for Friday. Me and little Mike Muchich, I can never pronounce his last name. Sorry, Mike. But me and Mike went upstairs to, like I said, Derek was sitting there. We grabbed a little folder, envelope, and then we turned around and walked away. And there wasn't a number on it, so we had to turn around and get a number for, you know, where you line up after the big thingamig, you know, for the. Whatever, we'll go there after. But so we turn around and go back to Derek, and we say, hey, Derek, we didn't get a number. He says, on the envelope, so can you give us a number, right? So when everybody ordered their tickets, previous proof, when you order your tickets, right, there's a confirmation number, ID number. You know, mine says number 30, and I know that people are like 31, 32, 33, right? So I said, well, if Derek was, you know, since he's done L.A. and New York, you'd think learn a couple things from these kind of things, you know? So you figured you get the same number that you ordered, right? Because let's face it, the people who ordered right away, man, know they wanted to be there, right? The stragglers were like later on, well, Vinny, I don't think he's going to show on this and stuff. You know what I mean? We didn't know if he was going to show either, but we just, you know, people just dive right in.
Right.
You know, so we think you want to treat those people who were bought first should be able to go first. Plain and simple, easy, right? You got a number, do it. Oh no, that's not how it worked. I don't know how he did his numbers or where he came from. I don't know if he just went like this or I don't know how he did his numbers. But anyways, yeah. So when we turned around, another guy had got his envelope and he wrote, "So what's your name?" And he looks on the computer. He goes, "Oh, you got 18." So I think, well, maybe there's less people today or something happened. So I'm like, okay. You know, I don't mind waiting in line, whatever. It's not a big deal. It's supposed to be only 100 people. Deal with it. No big deal. That's why I did the VIP, so I wouldn't have to deal with the mess on Saturday. And we'll get to that later. Anyways, yeah. So the next thing you know, guess what? That guy got 18. I end up getting 81. Here's the number. Here's the proof. It's not 18. It's 81, depending how you look at it there. So I got number 81. I'm like, whatever. You know, I'll deal with it. But still, I figured, well, I get it done Friday because you know Saturday's going to be a cluster. Because remember, I went to New York. That was bad in New York. Wicked bad. So anyways, I said, hey, can I get my pink ticket for Kim? He goes, well, I don't have those. Well, I'm like, well, other people have them. How are they getting them? You're right there. You know? Yeah, so I said, okay. All right, I'll deal with that tomorrow or whatever. So I says, well, can I get my poster? You know, can you get your poster, your pick set or whatever it was? And what else the hell is... And was there anything else with that thing?
What picture?
Oh, your laminate and stuff like that. So we get the laminate. Guess what? There's no posters. What do you mean there's no posters? That's the third thing I want signed. I only brought 2 other things. That's going to be my third. Well, the posters, well, they might be here. They might not. We don't know yet. They're somewhere. They're either somewhere en route or they're somewhere in the hotel. I heard that a couple times, too. I'm like, what? So anyways, there's no pick set either. So I'm like, okay, this is very odd. And I'm like, well, here we go again. So anyways, so what do you do, Friday? So we went back to the room, whatever, came back. We came back about, I don't know, 1 o'clock, started lining up because we know what's going to happen. So we get up there early. My girlfriend Kim said, fiance now, got to say, they can't say girlfriend anymore. So anyway, she turns around and says she knows that she can't go into the room, in the ballroom, you know, because these guys know what the ballroom is. It's called chairs and stuff like a ballroom. So next thing you know, we're all hanging around, and next thing you know, we get escorted into the ballroom. Kim can't go into the ballroom because she's got a pink ticket, and she understands that. So her and another one of our friends, Bobby, was hanging around, and they were just going to hang around. And they end up, oh, you can't hang around here either. They couldn't even hang around in the lobby. So they went down to the lobby. So here's Kim texting me in the lobby, hey, what's going on? I said, we're just sitting around the room. There's 100 people plus in this room sitting around, twiddling their thumbs, going, what the hell's going on? And actually, like, the guy who comes in that works for Peter Chris is supposedly helping out Derek. And he says, anybody got to take a pee break because this is the last time, blah, blah, blah. So people leave to go to the bathroom, they come back. Next, you know, I have Kim texting me. They're trying to kick us out of the lobby down here. What? I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, I guess Vinny's going to be coming in. They're trying to kick us out of the lobby. And we're telling them, screw you. We paid for the hotel. We don't have to leave. That's so next time, Derek was downstairs with people, and they're waiting for Vinny to come in. They're waiting and waiting. And she texts me. She goes, what's going up there? I'm like, well, now they're pumping some music, some kids music, like Lick It Up, Young and Wasted, do the thing, which is kind of cool. Okay, at least you're getting something going on. So next thing you know, Kim texts me. She says they're still trying to kick us out of here. She said, we're not leaving. So next thing you know, we're waiting and waiting. She goes, oh, they said Vinny's in the building. I said, oh, okay. It's almost 2 hours late. Whatever. Whatever. Next thing you know, she texts me. She goes, he's in the building. He's upstairs. And Kim and Bobby are listening to Eddie Trunk on the radio. Guess what? Vinny's in the freaking next room. Yep. But guess what? They're not pumping it to us. We have no freaking clue. Nobody has no idea what's going on. Everybody's going like this, taking pictures, the background. It's on the thing on the stage. And he's looking around. And next thing I yell, "Hey, guess what? Vinny's in the other room talking to Eddie Trump, but we can't hear. What the frig, man?" So now the rest of the world now is hearing Vinny and seeing Vinny for the first time in over 20 years, while the VIP paid almost $300 to sit there with their thumbs up their ass in a room with a full of chairs.
Yeah, that's not
right?
good.
Julian knows. Julian was there, right, Julian?
Well, yeah, I got a cop to it. I was actually listening to Sirius with a couple of people because I was texted when Vinny was arriving, so I knew when he was arriving. I also knew that he was running late because I'd been setting up in the room all during the VIP session. Obviously, I was selling. I had set up early. I hadn't done my tablecloths or anything, but I had books out. I actually sold out of the freaking On Tour book faster than hell.
Congratulations to you.
During the VIP session. So I was talking to Eddie. I knew what time he was going off air. He was getting antsy. He was having technical issues, trying to get help from the people at the hotel. He finally gets all set up. He moves to where he is. Everyone's really helpful. The cats from Podcast Rock City helped out. I think moved and let him set up there. He took down their banner so that it didn't show up on any of his promo stuff with their permission, of course. Let's be very clear there. He did not do anything to try and get rid of their presence, and he put it back up afterwards. So I knew, that we were getting down to about 30 minutes. I think it was about 3:30 that he finally got in there. He did not have a long interview with Eddie, so I knew he was in there. I went and listened with Joe's friend, had Sirius coming in. He was like, "Hey, Julian, we're listening to it." So I go over, and I just couldn't really hear it off the phone, and it really sounded vanilla. So I went back and sat down with Tim and just continued talking. I want to go back to the check-in.
But the whole point was, man, we paid a lot of money to this VIPs. Yeah. This is the first time in basically almost 20 years anybody seen Vinny. And what is he doing? He's next door to Eddie Trump talking to him, and we don't even get the feed until the last 5 minutes. Somebody finally pumped the last 5 minutes, and people started rushing over to the speakers to listen to it. You know what I mean? So the rest of the world got to hear Vinny and see Vinny probably. I don't know if they even videoed it when he did the Eddie Trunk. I don't know if somebody took pictures and videotaped it while he was doing it. But the rest of the world got to see it before we even did. That was the whole point of why we paid the $289 was to see Vinny and talk to Vinny first. And we got ripped off by that. I don't know who paid. Eddie Trunk must have paid Vinny a ton of money, or the Sears, whoever's doing Eddie Trunk stuff, paid him a ton of money to come on his thing first. Period. End of story. That's the way it went.
Here was the funniest thing about that. We were obviously listening to music next door while this was all going on, and then people started getting a little bit boisterous. Do you remember? We were told to keep it down because Vinny's being interviewed next door. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Here's one thing I did check. I asked Eric, what is the order going to be of the VIP experience for people meeting Vinny and getting autographs? He told me categorically, and I do believe I have it in writing, that it is going to be in the order of your order number. So I was like, okay, great, I'm number 12, and that's great. I'll be done quickly so I can get on with setting up. I said I will set up and sell during this VIP experience so that people have something else to do while they're waiting around. There's nothing worse than just hanging out twiddling your thumbs. I didn't know if they were going to have music piped in. I thought it was a good opportunity to sell shit. So order number 12, that turned into order number 50 when I got my envelope. And that was neither here nor there for me because
it gets better, Ken.
Because I was set up, I was selling. So when it came time to get kicked out of the room, I was like, okay, fine. Went and hung with everyone, and obviously we did a great photo. I'm going to spin that in right now. Great photo of me, Tim, Nils, and Andy. Because obviously Andy had done some shopping while waiting, but 50. So we get through the whole thing, and
wait! You got to go back. You forgot it. When Vinny walks in the door, right? Finally, Vinny walks in the room with us for everybody, right? Now we got the some people that are shock and awe, right? We've always heard the rumors that he might have changed into a woman, or he's both ways, whatever. You know what? So what? You know what? Yeah. I turned off my phone. I recorded a little bit of stuff. I said there's so many people recording. You know what? I just sat back and let it all in, because you know what? That was huge. That was probably one of the biggest history in the family of KISS stuff since the reunion. You know what I mean? I mean, I was lucky to see, I don't know if you want to call it in that KISS family, but I saw, 4x8 played up in upstate New York, and then Richie Scarlett jumped on, and Inez Freely played up. I mean, that was another huge thing. So I don't know if you call that it's in the KISS family, but it's not really sort of KISS related. But this Vinnie thing, man, was the biggest thing almost since the reunion. People are talking about it. It's got to be. That had to be the biggest thing almost since the reunion. That was super huge. And you know what? Like I said, I shut my phone off. I didn't want to listen to people, but people say, "Oh my God, he was like busting his balls," and he'd say he, she, and all. You know what? So what? Think about it. Yeah. Think about this, people. Think about it. If the guy was going to become a woman or a man or whatever what it is, let it be. Because if he came out in the 80s, he would have got destroyed. Okay? He comes out now, it's more acceptable. But listen to some of the people online showing how just terrible. Now think about it. Some of you are great people like, I can name one name. Robert Halford from Judas Priest, one of the biggest heavy metal gods, came out of the closet. All right? Ding, ding, ding. Think about it. You got the Queen, right? How many football players, baseball players, hockey players, professionals that are in the closet? They're still in the closet and they won't come out because they're afraid of the backlash. You know what? I got news for you. Vinnie played on the Creatures. He was asked to play on the Creatures. He kicked ass on the Creatures. He did lick it up. He basically wrote most of the songs, kicked the ass on guitar. If he was so bad, they asked him back on Revenge. Everybody said, "Oh, Revenge is the greatest album in that whole 80s and 90s, a little bit of the 90s thing." Who wrote most of the songs? Vinnie did. So it doesn't matter what he looks like in this and that. He might never get on a stage with them again, yes or no. But still, who cares? The guy was a phenomenal player, phenomenal writer, and he probably still is.
Lonnie.
But now we'll go back to the other thing. Before we left that room, before we were supposed to set up for the meet and greet, which was promised on the sheet of a VIP, that we were supposed to have a group photo, one or two, depending, they could have split the group 50-50 with Vinnie. Never happened. Strike one already. So there's one part of the VIP experience that went down the drain for everybody. It wasn't even mentioned. It wasn't even said.
No,
even though everything else was running late. So, go ahead, Julian.
I'm going to Lonnie talk. Lonnie.
Well, go ahead. I benefited from the miscue of line numbers. I looked up my email. My email was I debated back and forth in my mind when they announced the VIP, and my wife eventually that night said, you better just do it because it's going to sell out. And I did, and I got 78, and my number on my envelope was 50. So I moved up 28 spots in line, which was kind of nice. Wow.
Yeah, but you weren't actually 50 though in the long run when you thought about it.
50 in the line even on Friday night because some people just didn't care. There was no order to it because some people just did. I talked to a guy while we were waiting because we didn't get in line right away. Julian and I didn't even get in line right away. I was like, you know what? If we're supposed to be lined up by these numbers, why am I just going to go stand there and do nothing for the next couple hours? So you know what? I stood by Julian. I helped Julian sell some books, and we just kind of hung out for a little while and drank a couple beers. So we were kind of monitoring what line number they're on, and one guy comes back in. He has a stuff sign. I go, "Oh, what number were you?" Just to see where they're at. He goes, "Oh, I was 84." And I said, "What?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I just walked up to the front of the line like I own the place and just walked right in." I'm like, "Well, the problem is there's always going to be a guy like that, but there was nobody. There was no one helping Derek, and Derek didn't have anyone there that controlled the line to make sure that people were lined up correctly. Everybody was just on the honor system, and you know what? You're always going to get a guy like that. Just like people jumping lines at Six Flags or Disney World, you're always going to have a guy that thinks I'm entitled to not have to wait in line. I'm better than the rest of you people. So there was no structure to it Friday night whatsoever.
Well, here's the thing too, Lonnie, is that Derek said one thing, and then the helper was told another thing 2 minutes later.
We'll get into that on Saturday as
well. Yeah, Saturday was a lot worse. Friday wasn't as bad, but
I said it Friday night. I told Julian, I told Andy, I told my wife, I told everybody. I said, you know what? As bad as today is, tomorrow's gonna be worse. And
that's right.
People were like,
that's why I bought the VIP for Friday, so I would have to deal with the shit on Saturday. Right. But that didn't work out too well.
Well, I said, you just wait. There's 100 people here tonight, and I put 100 in quotation marks. People here tonight. There's 1,000 people here tomorrow. You just wait. Tomorrow is going to be much worse, and Saturday was.
There were more than 100 people in that VIP. There were people who didn't pay, who were bumped up to the front of the line and given preferential treatment. Obviously.
And also, there were also I can tell you right now, Mike, my friend Mike, he had number 98. When he stood in line, there were 3 people that had the number 98.
Yep.
There were 2 people that had the number 100. And guess what? I found people were asking, hey, what number you got? People were asking because people were trying to line up. I thought people were pretty much respectful on Friday. It's Saturday got really, really ugly. But Friday wasn't too bad. But watch this. I asked the guy, hey, what number? Everybody's talking because everybody's trying to get in line. I go, what number you got? He goes, I got 110. I go, what? Can I take a picture of that? There it is. I don't know how good it is, but there it is. There's this envelope, 110. And I heard there were like over 120-something people. So Derek lied. Let's face it, Derek lied. He sold more than 100. So he basically went, it's all about the money. I understand, I'm sorry, when you say it's 100, it's 100 people, you keep it at 100. But he went over the 100 mark, so there it is. So that's not a good start anyways. So that's strike 2 on Friday alone. Oh, actually, that's strike 3 because never the posters weren't there. Or you say no photo, no group photo, no posters, no pics, and over the 100. So that's over strike 3. That's strike 4 on Friday alone with that. And no help.
If they're going to do a one in Nashville, they got to fix a lot of stuff. I mean,
you got to tighten some stuff up.
They have.
You have to. You have to have.
They ought to put in a number. Like I say, this is a lanyard. They ought to have a sticky number on them. So when you do get yours handed, you know what your number is.
That's what they do in Indianapolis. When you get your lanyard, it has a number.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Ken. It doesn't matter if you have a number on it. It doesn't matter if you don't have somebody standing there being the person saying, guess what? Show me your number. Show me your number. Okay.
You need to have.
You could have wrote number 2 on a piece of paper and just showed them that, and you probably.
Well, they did. They wrote it on the envelope.
Yeah, I'm saying you probably could have made your own envelope and put number 2 on it.
Well, that's true. Yeah, but how many people are gonna have those envelopes on them at the time? Yeah, but
I know you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
They might have a pen considering the blank envelopes that were given out. But here's the thing: they had a.
You could have wrote it back on that, like you said. You could have wrote it on the back. 2, 3, 4.
So, that's all, it's not an insurmountable problem. Here I was not going to stand in line because I figured it was going to be pretty slow, with being number 50. And,
so we didn't see a point in standing.
I went back to my table and, continued to sell and keep people entertained. I was playing some tunes, drinking some beer, talking with folk, having a good time. And I figured I would go check on the line every now and then, see what number we're on. After half an hour I went in, they're on number 12. A little while longer. Oh, that's on number 16, 23. Go down the lobby, go get some dinner. Figure I'll come back, and then all of a sudden they're on 54. I'm like, oh fuck. So I go walking up to the front of the line and say, hey guys, sorry, I've been, I've been busy.
It took Vinnie. They said Vinnie did 16 people in 1 hour because Vinnie was actually talking to people.
Yes, he was
taking his time, which I think is really good. But then it's really bad when people, like I said, Friday was good, but you don't, even though, like you say, you don't know who just say, oh, I got a number. And, there were people, even on Friday, there were some people sliding, I'm special, let me in.
Yeah. And
I'm such and such, let me in.
And it even happened on Friday during the VIP. You're exactly right.
Yeah. And, so. But Vinnie was they said Vinnie was taking his time, and then at one point when he said, I got to take a break, when he came out, and then I guess when he went back in, they told him basically, hey, Vinnie, you got to go faster, So which kind of, so at the end, you're more to the edge, you got kind of like, shit, you got that, 40 seconds, 30 seconds of signing. Hi, Vinnie, how are you? Thank you, sign, and goodbye, and it's not Vinnie's fault. It's not his fault.
No,
You know?
Vinny was awesome, and here's, I'd heard about some of the shit that was going down in there, people taking advantage of the situation. Oh, we're not ready. We need another person in this photo. Hold on, wait, and all that sort of crap. I'm sorry, if your person is in there, fucking go to the back of the line, assholes. You're wasting people's time. You're wasting Vinny's time. I go in there for my autographs, and give Derek the 3 ticket stubs. I had 2 photos. One Ken now has. One was a photo from the final invasion show in 1988, and then of course, well, here I got them right here. So I had that in gold, and then of course the '86 press shot, which I had him doing hot pink. He was wonderful. He was absolutely wonderful. He was not rushing. I was cognizant of the fact that, number one, I felt bad because I'd skip back into line, even though I'd missed my number.
You're good.
So I'm good, but I still felt a bit dickish doing that because I hadn't stood in line like everyone else. I'd been working. So I was like, I go in and shake his hand. Hey, Vinny, it's good to see you back out. I just held his hand and said, looked him in the eyes and said, thank you so much for the music. It's nice to be able to tell you that in person. And then did my signing and got the fuck out. So I went real fast because I told him what I needed to. I had a handshake from him, and I said, can you do this one in super hot pink for me? And he's like, yeah, he kind of smiled. He was absolutely wonderful to me. But just because of the way it worked out, that when I came back and had gone past my number, we waited for fucking ever for dinner in that fucking restaurant downstairs. All it was a goddamn club sandwich. They were changing over to a new POS system that night. I'm like, do you seriously change over to a new point of sale system on a fucking convention weekend? Are you guys freaking mental? What the hell's the matter with you? They the service staff are fantastic, so this isn't a dig on them. The food was good. The service, the service was a little iffy, but it was busy.
People were waiting 45 minutes for a water.
But that point of sale was a piece of shit. That was terrible. So, going back up, I felt guilty. I thought I had to go fast.
Yeah.
Plus, I didn't want to leave all my shit unattended either. I wanted to be there in case someone came in and said, hey, Julian, you're an asshole. Here's a typo you missed.
No, when I went in, right, like I said, so it comes back to... She's looking at the way. Now, here's the thing. When I went in,
no Netflix.
Right, I only had, like I said, 2 things because my third was supposed to be the poster. So now I'm kind of like, I'm screwed. So I walk up, Derek looks at me and goes, what do you got? I go, I got my poster from, I didn't know what to bring, so I brought the, the Look It Up poster with the Germany one, the tank, where Vinny's on his zine. You can see Gene and Paul, but Eric, you can't see Eric. Because me personally, I think it's weird to have something signed by 3 out of the 4. I don't know if you know what I mean. I like to have it filled, and it's never going to be filled. Yeah. So that's the way I kind of look. That's why I personally look at it, but I know other people look at it different. So I had the poster, and I put the poster on, and Vinny's like, I go, yeah, it's something a little different. I pull the poster, and he looked at it and goes, wow. And then somebody came up to her and goes, man, that was really you. And Vinny kind of chuckled. And then of course I had the piece signed for me is the casket piece, the last piece of the puzzle. Put on the table. I'm like, hey Vinny, can you do this in silver for me? And can you sign it here? Vinny said no problem. Took his time. Sweet. I gotta say one thing, man. Vinny took his time when he signed his name. Very awesome.
He took his
time.
He
didn't just he really just.
I didn't see one scribbled autograph.
Oh, man, and he had such a bad reputation for doing asshole signatures. He was beautiful. He was just... He wasn't slow. He was just very considerate and considered. Lonnie, what did you get signed? You brought some old junk to get signed, didn't you?
Right, so I brought some stuff to get signed for Friday night, and then we'll get into this later. I brought some stuff for Saturday, too, because I had brought more than 3 things. But I wasn't real concerned about it because I was told that my VIP... badge would get me a fast pass on Saturday.
Who told you that?
An email told me that, and I was certain.
Oh, this paper?
Yeah, that piece of paper. So a couple of buddies of mine, hey, can you get some stuff signed? Oh yeah, it's not going to be a problem. So I said, well, if I'm going to wait in line for my buddies, I'll get something else signed for me too. Anyway, so I was like, well, let me get some big things signed on Friday, so I don't have to carry around stuff with me all day Saturday. So I got History signed on Friday night, which if you're ever traveling, do not put History in a small carry-on because it will get stopped by TSA every time. I got stopped on my way down to Atlanta, and I got stopped on my way back up to St. Louis on Monday. So do not put Kissery as a carry-on. It will get stopped because they don't know what is so big and what weighs so much inside of your carry. Yeah, pretty dense, and they can't see through it. So I got that signed, I have that signed, my Kissery signed by all 8 living members then. And then I got my box set signed also.
I saw a lot of those this weekend.
I saw a lot of these as well.
Look, everyone who's done that, kudos to you. They look absolutely fantastic. I never bought that version. It looks great.
Where the hell did I put that?
I am missing Peter Criss, and I really, really hate myself that I didn't ship this out to you last January for you to get Peter Criss to sign it. But
well, he's going to be in New Jersey.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Yeah, he'll do some more.
Yeah. So I go in there and I have him signed Kissery. I have him sign that, and he stops and he looks at me and he goes, "Well, what's your third thing?" And I look at him and I go, "Vinny, will you sign my leg?" And he stops and he looks at me and he goes, "Are you serious?" And I said, absolutely. I put my leg up on the table. I said, I've had every member of KISS sign my leg and get it tattooed except you. And I never thought I'd get a chance to meet you. Will you sign my leg for me? And he goes, yeah, we'll come around here. So I can put around to the other side of the table. And I put my leg up on the table. And I go, you sign down the back of it. And he signed it really nice and really took his time and did it really nice down the back of it. And James North from Australia was actually in the room, and he was volunteering and helping move things along with passing things, getting things signed. And he took some really nice pictures of Vinny signing my leg. And I can't thank him enough for that.
That's illegal.
Fantastic.
Those are
pictures and no videos in that room.
The $15
he was
extra.
volunteering, so he got away with it.
Unless you're one of these ones that have the privileges. So Lonnie's in the privilege group now.
Hey, I am not in the privilege group, and I'll get to that in a minute.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Lonnie is all of a sudden the wrong sort of 1%er.
Yeah. So he signed it, but the problem is that my plan was to go get it tattooed Friday night, so I didn't have to worry about it during the day or during the expo on Saturday, and that way I could shower in the morning and not walk around smelling like a man all day Saturday. But the problem was we didn't get in there till almost 10 o'clock on Friday night, and by the time after we did the pictures and that, it was after 10, and I'm like, it's too late to go get it done tonight. So, I was kind of stuck. So I had to get it done during the day at a point on Saturday. But he was so gracious when you walked in. Yeah, he was. He was so. The two words I would describe him as the whole weekend is gracious and genuine.
And I think genuinely shocked too that he was.
Oh, genuinely shocked and very forthcoming in what he was saying. That even when and everybody watching this, I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably watched the YouTube videos of his interviews, and he was really genuine in what he was saying, and you can believe what he says, you cannot believe what he says, because you know what, we've heard the same truth for 20 years, and when you hear a different side of a story after you have basically accepted one story to be the truth, there's always different sides to every story, and when you hear the different side of the story after you've been force-fed a different version of it for 20 years, I guess the natural human reaction is to say, well, that's BS because Gene said, or because Paul said, or because I heard this, or I heard that. Vinny's full of shit. Well, just because you heard one story first doesn't mean that version is the truth. Yeah. So, and a lot of the times the truth is somewhere in the middle. So, but I believe what Vinny was saying was what he believes to be the truth and what he believes what really happened. But getting back to Friday night, it was amazing with just being in the same room as him, because I told him, I said, I never thought I'd get the chance to meet you. And we can sit here and we can badmouth Derek and how unorganized the place was and how things didn't go the way we thought they would. But the one thing I will say about Derek is that he won because he did produce Vinnie Vincent, and no one else has done that in 22 years. So I will give him kudos for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was the thing. It's like a double-edged sword. You know, I mean, see, like Lonnie says too, man. He's the man. And there were a lot of people there who said, "Oh, I might not go." And I'm not talking just fans. I'm talking people that were, in the industry, Kiss people. You know what I'm saying? Keith and the Kiss warehouse were there. Nobody knew they were going to be there. They were there. There was Ace Frehley's manager was there. There was other people there that you might have not have thought were there. But there are people that wanted to see this happen just as much as you and I. But just get back quick. Even like I said, I had number 81, and I went through, and I asked the guy that was helping. I forgot his name. He does the Peter stuff too. I asked him, "What about the photos tonight?" Now this is Friday, and he says, "Well, it all depends on how Vinny's feeling. It's getting late." No, I said, "Well, I hope you're not going to plan on doing us on Saturday, because I got news for you. You're asking for a lot of problems." And we'll get into, like I say, we'll get into Saturday, but Saturday was a nightmare as it was. But and then I literally, when I went through, and then I went back when I finally went back out the door, all of a sudden he came, probably like 3 people later, because I was getting my stuff outside the door, and all of a sudden he goes, "Oh, everybody just line up, because he's going to take photos after he's done these X amount of people with signatures," because it was almost towards the end of the line. Oh my God, all of a sudden everybody just like crams the line. And then everybody's like, "Getting in order number?" "No, not at this point, man. It's after 10 o'clock at night. No way. Just get in line." So a lot of people actually left because they didn't really know if they were going to get their photo that night, because
I think some
they didn't know what was going to go on.
The people that had the early
actually
tickets,
got a late number at the end, in a way. So if you had a late number at the end, you were actually going to be up close to get your photo. Because, literally, the photos were really, really fast, which is like the Kiss ones, just kind of quick. Actually, you know what? Let me take that back. Being on the Kiss cruise, those are fast. The one with Vinny was fast, but a nice fast.
Yeah.
He was gracious enough to. You walked up to him, he said hi. He held your hand if you wanted to. You could put your arm around him. He said a couple words to you. You turn around.
But they weren't pushing you through, though.
Yep, you could see the photographer. They took the picture, and then they just moved on. It wasn't like grab you, go, move, go, fast. You know what I mean? You got that extra second or 2 or 3. You know what I mean? Because Lonnie's been on the Kiss cruise to actually set up.
They weren't pushing you out of the way at the same time. You were getting your picture taken.
You actually go up to him, shake his hand, hold him. So that part of it, primo. So, but the next part, here we go again. So we're going to take the Friday, because even though it happens for Saturday, it still counts as Friday, is that when everybody got their picture taken on Friday, so I don't know if we can move on to Saturday now. Now on Saturday, you were supposed to get an 8x10 photo of Friday, a professional photo, from Friday to Saturday, sometime around 11 and 12, whatever it came out. All of a sudden, I got a text from my friend saying, "Hey, Andy, man, there's a woman walking around with photos." So I think, well, that must be the hard copy photo. Well, guess what? I found the lady. She comes out and she says, "Oh, I have photos." I said, "Oh, cool." And there's a bunch of other people around. She comes out and she's here. They're on. She's got a stack load of them. And some guy comes up to her and goes, "What the hell is this?" The photo, it's not an 8x11 professional photo. It's a Walmart special 4x6 photo. Okay?
I was told there weren't time for 8x10s.
Well,
I don't see how there's time for 4x6s, but not 8x10s. I told the people in line with me, they must really think I'm an idiot if they think I'm going to buy. There wasn't time for 8x10s.
Well, here's a story. I heard the lady explain to a couple other people, Lonnie, when I was kind of in the background waiting to get my 4x6, Walmart special photo. The woman said that they didn't want to do she didn't say who. She says they didn't want to do the 8x11s, and the woman said, "I didn't want to leave people out of their photos." She goes, She said the woman said that, she goes, "I did it." She goes, "I went down to the place and I made these because I didn't want to leave people." Because she says, "I thought maybe people would want a photo to go back in line and get it signed by Vinny. I didn't want to leave people stranded." She goes, "I thought maybe people," and that was out of that woman's who was giving the pictures. She said they didn't want to do an 8x11. So you tell me. And I didn't get it personal. I was listening in the background a little bit. So that's what she said. She did it out of her own heart to do these photos. So if it wasn't for this woman who at least gave us this photo, we probably wouldn't have got nothing on Saturday. Zippo. Now, I got news for you. No offense, but this is a professional photo. Thank you very much. You know, I don't know person who took the photos, but, you know, so that's Friday now going into Saturday. So it's up wherever you guys want to go now into Saturday.
Yeah, a lot.
I got my story on Saturday morning to get started. I don't know where you guys were up online, but I stayed up wicked late on Friday. I got about 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I actually went to sleep on Friday into Saturday. I got up.
3 hours.
Yeah, I know. Some of us was pretty late or early because I knew Saturday was going to be a mess again because I got up. I went back up at 7 o'clock in the morning. There was already a line, that line to get in this little hallway to then take the corner where Derek was sitting to explain to people. Now we're in line waiting. And then they said, people who want an autograph, right side of the wall. People who want to, that have to get their stuff on the left side of the wall, okay? Now, I'm on the left side because I have to get my pink ticket thing for Kim, okay? But I want to be on the right side because I still need something else signed from Friday night that I'm still owed. Think about it. I can't be in two places at once. So Kim comes up, goes to the right. I'm on the left. And then all of a sudden, for some strange reason, the guy's like, now we're switching. The people who were supposed to be on the right now are supposed to be on the left. The people on the left are supposed to be on the right. And everybody's like, what? So now you have these massive lines. Massive. Going out. They can't hear everybody. So now everybody starts creeping up, sliding in, trying to do this smoozy-woozy. Now people are getting pissed off, getting a little upset. I've been here since 7 a.m. in the morning. What the frick you doing trying to cut the line? Now we're going to get nasty. That's how people started being. Then, next thing you know, they finally say, oh, can you give, the dealers need an extra 15 minutes to set up. Now the lines are going down the halls, way past the halls down. Now they're getting scared. Now the cops that are around are getting scared about the fire department law. You know?
Oh, so now, a total fire hazard. All day Saturday was a total fire hazard.
Yeah, now it's a fire hazard. Now they're getting scared. So now they start moving the line. So they're like, anybody here for the VIP or the pink? The pink, actually, I think they called. I'm like, whoa, wait. People are like, wait a minute. What about the VIP people? So they're like, oh, hold on. So the VIP people said, okay, come around. So I go around, and next thing you know, the pink people start going around who have already gotten their pink like laminates, are already the ones who somehow got them early, are already sliding down the hall, right? So next thing I go up and I said, hey, you have the posters? And they're like, yeah, here's your poster. I'm like, okay, thank you. So now I'm trying to get in line, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. I had to turn around, go back, and say, guess what? I need my pink ticket. And they're like, you already have a VIP. I said, yeah, but they're both in my name, my VIP and the pink one I bought for Kim. Can I please have it now? Because now people are passing me left and right, and I want to get her stuff so I can give it to her so I can get in the line. So I don't have to wait here all day. Well, what happens? They give me my stuff. I go around the corner and give to Kim, and now I have a shitload of people looking at me like they want to kill me. Because where am I the king or whatever it is to get stuff for her? You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Now people want to kill me. So I'm like, here you go, Kim, here's your picks up. You come around the corner. But Kim doesn't want to get in line for Vinnie stuff. She doesn't want anything signed. She doesn't want anything, photos or nothing. She already knows what happened in New York. She didn't want to deal with it. And she didn't want me to get double ripped off this time. So next thing you know, here I am in line now with 2 posters, still no pink things. And I'm thinking, okay, when this really gets started here pretty soon, they're going to let all the VIP, they're going to, according to the that told the volunteer that when they went around another corner, when they got around that other super corner, they were going to split us. The VIP from the morning that didn't get whatever done, They're going to get taken care of first. Then it was going to be the pink on this side, and then the silver.
Silver behind them.
Well, guess what? I'm standing there in line, and we're standing there, and I have all these people in pink in front of me, and they're not moving. They don't give a shit. The people in pink. Well, it says pink first on Saturday. And there were people in front of me, 3 or 4 people in front of me, that weren't fans. They were just buying stuff to put on eBay, and they were saying it point blank. They had a ton of stuff. And I'm just going, oh, my God, this is going to get ugly, more ugly. So next thing you know, I'm standing there. A cop comes up to Lewis. Lewis is Lewis volunteer helper. Cop goes, we can't have this. This is a fire hazard. This is insane. The fire department comes here. This whole thing's going to be, and Lewis is like, Lewis is like, well, I can't mix the silver with the pink. And I'm standing there going, what about the VIPs? They don't even mention the VIP people. So next thing you know, they started moving a line up that, Lonnie knows, up and around the corner. I mean, they kept moving and moving us, and next thing you know, they're like, forget it. Everybody's on their own. Basically, that's how it went.
Yeah. And that's what we were told. So we finally get lined up Saturday morning. Vinny hasn't signed one autograph yet, but we finally get lined up to where the line's going to be, and they're like, you know what? This is the line. So,
see my casket piece?
Death match.
There we are.
Ken,
this is about
realize this, Ken. You and I are spectators today.
By the time we got lined up, it was like, by the time they got us in the plate and where the line was, where the line after the line, where we got lined up for autographs was, maybe it was 10:30 by this point.
Say hi.
So
come in.
Andy was a little bit ahead of me in line. I'm a little bit behind him. I'd say when we got lined up, there were.
Hey, hi, Lonnie. Hi, Julian.
Hey, Kim.
Sorry. She just wanted to say hi quick.
There were maybe 40 people ahead of me in line. And I thought, oh, this isn't bad at all. There's 40 people. Even if, okay, they're not going to split us up, the VIP. Maybe I should be up in the front because I'm supposed to have this fast pass. But okay, this isn't bad. There's maybe 40 people ahead of me. It's 10:30. I'm going to be out of here before too long. I can go get my tattoo. I can come back. Things are going to be great. Things are going to be fine. No. The first couple people in line had 80 things for him to sign.
Oh, no.
So the line moved about by 5 or 6 people.
Jeez.
And then they said, okay, Vinny's going to take a break. And I'm like, what?
What?
No, here's what happened, Lonnie, though, before that break thing, though. I turned around and went to somebody and said, hey,
I'm watching you to see what you're going to do because I knew you had the pass as well.
Yeah, and I said I went to Lewis and the guy. I said, hey, you guys, there's not a ton of us, but there's people who had VIP from last night who didn't get their stuff done, and we're supposed to just jump up the line first, and we're not trying to be dinks about it, but this is what we paid for. How come this can't happen? You're like, well, no. Well, you got to talk to Derek. That's all it was. Talk to Derek. And then I turned around and said, okay, my friend Bobby, she bought a lithograph to have Vinny sign, and she was about 6 people behind me. And I said, okay, I got to run to the bathroom quick. I'll check the lithio there. So I ran down there, went to the bathroom, came out. Is there lithios? He said no. I went back, told Bobby, guess what? No lithios. But in the meantime, when I went to go check for the lithios, I'm in the middle of it again. I can hear Derek. Oh, Vinny's going to take a break at 1:15, and then he's going to start taking alcohol in that too.
Vinny's going to take a break.
Coke.
Is there any? Okay.
And then he's going to do pictures for the next 2 hours.
Yeah. So he's going to take a break at 1:15, and then start doing pictures in the same hallway that there are at least 200, 300 people lined up all the way down this little hallway.
So they go, okay, time for pictures. So the photographer's not there, so they're bringing in the photographer. And I'm like, well, while the photographer's setting up, can we maybe sign a couple more autographs so we can get the line moving? No, that didn't happen. So we just stood there while the photographer set up. Photographer finally sets up, and no one really knows for sure that we're doing pictures right now. It's just kind of hearsay through the line because they never really announced anything as we're standing there. So they go, okay, it's picture time. Anybody who wants their picture with Vinny, line up down the middle of the hallway. So forms it, so they start forming another line down the middle of the hallway. And at this point, it's really a fire hazard because you can't even move in the hallway.
And we're not talking like like a hallway. We're talking a hallway that, like, say you walk it, you come up and I come down, we're almost touching
I
shoulders.
saw those pictures.
So as people are getting their pictures taken and coming back out from getting their picture taken, people are still in line down the middle. Meanwhile, the people who are looking for autographs are still in line too. And people are like, well, what if I want my picture taken and I'm in line for autographs? Well, someone's gonna have to save your spot in line while you go get in the picture line, and they're just gonna have to be on the honor system, and then you can get back in line later. I'm like, holy shit, this is a disaster.
So at that point, I basically, my friend Bobby was like 6 feet behind me.
You gave up at that point.
And I'm not a giver-upper like that. I've stayed in line for KISS. I've stayed in line for, but I was up like all night Friday, and then I've been waiting all day Saturday. And guess what? I haven't got into the hall for the expo yet.
No,
so now we're missing.
None of us have been in the hall yet for the expo.
Yeah. So now I'm missing the expo itself. I'm missing the whole point for me. Some people like collect autographs and whatever. I am not. I collect everything. You know what I mean? So now I want to see the dealer stuff. Well, guess what? I'm seeing people coming out with piles and bags and stuff, and I'm thinking, yeah, there goes something I probably might have liked to buy. Oh, there goes something,
Yeah.
So now that was the whole point of doing Friday, so I wouldn't have to, because I wanted to walk in, see the expo, not miss any of the special guests talking stuff. And yeah, I like this stuff. I like to go around and talk to everybody. I thought I could just go all around Saturday and hang out. I could hang out with Julian Gill all day going, hey, what's going on? You know what I mean? Hanging out and talking to people. Well, guess what? I'm standing in a line for 10 hours again. Here we go. And at one point, my brain, when he said he was taking a break and going to do photos at 1:30, and people who wanted photos could line up the middle, I couldn't take it anymore. I was starving. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to blow. I am going to more than blow because I don't mind waiting in line, but we bought the stuff on Friday to get rid of all the stuff done, and I needed one signature for my poster for something I had already paid for. So guess what? I asked Bobby because she's like, she didn't do the thing Friday. She was to do her 6 hours. Well, guess what, Bobby? She says, Andy, I'll take care of it. I basically walked away with Kim and Mike and had to go across the street, go to the mall, and get something to eat for a couple hours or an hour or two. I was out of my tree. My neck, my head. I was just splitting. I couldn't take it anymore, and basically I walked away. And then Bobby texted me like in 45 minutes. Hey Andy, man, I'm moving the line. I'm just about it. Oh, I'm done. All of a sudden I got a text. She's like, you want to run back over? I'm like, I can't. There's no way I'll make it in time. So I'm like, just have him to sign the poster for me. And I did somebody else a favor, like a little 8 by 10 or whatever. Thank you. I don't care, And it got all done. And then I came back and I'm like, oh my God. Now I can actually walk into the expo, but I've already missed some stuff. I already missed some guests. I already missed some people talking.
You would have missed a lot by let me give you a slightly different perspective as a dealer. I got up at 5:45. I dicked around on Facebook, and I think I remoted home, to do some shit. Go down to breakfast about 7. Oh, and then forgot that I needed a pot of tea to go. So, by the time I'm all set, it's about 7:30. I figure, okay, take my tea to go, mosey on down. Holy shit, the fucking line was all the way back into the actual hotel at that point, and I was like, I'm so fucking glad I'm not actually doing this expo. I'm actually just selling at it because I did my VIP experience last night. I got my 3 autographs. I had my picture taken. I am done. So I just mosey on down the line, see a couple. I saw you in line. And hey, how you doing? A couple people recognize me. Just a little light chat on my way, and then just walk by the police into the dealer room and continue setting up and all that shit. That fucking line just is memories of LA. And you know what? Hearing about those assholes, I'm going to call them assholes, with 80 items to get signed.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care if you're a fan or a dealer or just looking for an eBay score getting that shit signed. Special arrangements, I said this about LA, need to be made for those fucking situations so that your average punter who's got 1 or 2 fucking items that they want to get signed can be done properly. I'm sorry, you take care of those guys privately while Vinny's having his cup of coffee. You do not have someone with 80 goddamn items, and I don't fucking care if they paid for each one of them. It is just not on to treat the rest of the line who've only got one. You can get rid of so much of the line just by cycling them through fast. 3 items, go, goodbye. Line dwindles. Okay, Mr. 80 items. You must be a good fan. What's your favorite Invasion song? Yeah.
I think, you know what? I think on Friday, literally, I mean, Friday when he did the meet and greet for Friday, all those people that are in a room, and I mentioned it to a couple people, they should have kept everybody in that room because now we're all locked in.
Line them up by 25 at a time or 20 at a time.
Correct. Open the door. The first 25, line up outside the door, get done. Done. Go back in the room, come back, hang out, listen to tunes that are in the room. The next 25, get it all done, all the signatures done, then start all over again. Get up, the next 20, from 1 to 100, or 100, whatever the hell it was, do it again. Now the photos. How hard is it? Or they could have, somebody says, it's a thing with Vinnie, if somebody could fall on the stage. Come on. They could have had it set up for the photographer in the same room. Vinny's up on a stage. Everybody one row at a time. Line up. One picture. Next. Go down the other part of the stairs. Next. One part of the stair. Next. One part of the stair. Next. Hello. That's an option they could have had. I mean, come on. Somebody.
You know what? I will say this: both of the VIP experiences, in terms of the people and the attitudes that were in there, were fantastic. We had a fantastic time in that room, meeting and mingling. Come on, Eddie. Remember, you came up to me.
Yeah, that's what I said. We're all in the room. We all took it to stride. We knew it was going to come. It was just the line things. Friday wasn't as bad. Even on Friday, the lines, even though they was kind of messed up a little bit, but not too bad. Everybody was kosher. It was just Saturday. Saturday was the big mess up for the people who didn't get their stuff from Friday from the VIP. We knew Saturday was going to be a mess. He hasn't learned. He did LA, right? You think from LA's experience, you fix it for Peter's experience in New York. It didn't happen. So, it's definitely got to be fixed by now. And Vinny was going to be worse than Peter because it's the first time in almost 20 years that he's come out of the woodworks. Mm-hmm. And he needed help. He had to pay people, and he didn't.
Here's the thing with Vinny, and I'm glad that this evening on Friday was baby steps for Vinny. Vinny has not been in the public eye for over 20 years. And first he had to take the baby steps and cross that threshold to go one-on-one with Eddie Trunk. And you know what? I thought that interview went pretty well for what it is. It's a little lightweight, but you know what? Eddie is a pro, and I thought he did a good job in walking Vinny through. I thought Vinny did very well. Vinny then had to take the next step, which was to walk over that threshold into a room to meet 100 and something fans. So a small group. Vinny did wonderfully. I was Facebooking live at that time because I'm an idiot who doesn't savor the moment for myself. I hold up my camera so everyone else can see. And he was walking that stage. I was proud of Vinny.
He was timid. I think he was very timid when he came out on that stage.
He was very timid when he walked out Friday.
And he did, the bow thing, and what I mean, the whole thing. And I'll tell you, man, the people that were in that room, the whole bunch of us in the room, even though you've heard he is, the woman thing and this and that, you know what? Everybody in that room was class. We had, all of us, everybody had class. Stood up.
Everybody stood up and cheered when he walked in the room.
And we kept going on for at least a minute or two. I mean, very classy. Everybody in that room. They were, but we understand. We were there to see this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We were the big time ones that really, really wanted to see it. So, I don't think there would be anybody who's there with saying stupid comments and stuff at the time anyway.
No, I mean, everyone it's okay to be curious about someone who's been reclusive, someone who's left a lot of questions. That's perfectly fine. It's how you handle the moment when you actually see that person. You see Vinny, and yes, he's still Vinny. He still looks similar. He's very different in some ways. The bulletproof vest adds 50 pounds.
Gene doesn't look the same as he did when he was younger, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And Ace doesn't. Peter doesn't. Paul doesn't. We don't look the same.
Here, we've watched Gene and Paul age for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Vinny for the last 20 years. So when you haven't seen here, we all go through, here, everybody's been to a high school reunion before and you haven't seen someone in 20 years.
Right.
Or, recently, I guess more recently, with Facebook, and that you're looking at people you went to high school with. Oh, I know that guy, and you look at him. Oh, wow, look at him.
Look, he doesn't have any hair anymore, or this or that, or anything else. You know what I mean?
Trump
I look better than he
fat.
does.
Yeah. So there's the natural thing.
We've seen Gene and Paul age. We haven't seen Vinny age. So, yeah, there's a shock difference when you haven't seen someone in a long time. So,
but
I think everybody was a little taken back. But so what?
Again, it comes back to who cares? Who cares?
What another gentleman looks like makes zero difference to how I feel about his songwriting abilities or how he plays guitar.
Right.
I really don't care what another guy looks like. I care about his songwriting and his guitar.
Mr. Jack
Daniels. Some people were on the shock and awe when he came out with a pocketbook.
Oh God! Fuck that. My father used to have a man bag. It's no big deal.
It wasn't a man. He didn't come out with a man bag. He actually came out. You know what I mean? With a big. I'm not making a joke out of it, but he did. When he took a break, he had to go to the bathroom. He took a bathroom break. He came out with a big pocketbook, and there was some people a little bit shocked and all. And I'm like, who cares if the guy's transitioning or not? Who cares? It's his life. If it makes him happy, he's happy. Happy. Who cares? But again, in another run, man, with all the lines are all messed up. You have to give Derek a props for getting him to come out in the public eye again. There's definitely, without a doubt, Derek did us as fans, huge fans, a huge thing to get him out in the public. So we have to give Derek props. And you can't tell me any of those people who've ever put on an expo wouldn't have wanted Vinny for themselves. There is no way. If they say, no way, I wouldn't Vinny, they're lying. Because it all comes down to business, money and business. You don't think any of those other people who have put on expos for years wouldn't want to have Vinny for the first time? Come on, really? Because now I've been going to expos for a long time, and that was huge. A lot of people, right? I mean, really, for the time, how the times are, and this is 2018. Expos are not like they used to be. This was one of the biggest expos in years.
But for me, let me make one thing very clear. The moment Vinnie Vincent walked through that door, it was mission accomplished for me. I really didn't need an autograph after that. I didn't need a photograph after that. I saw the man in the flesh, alive and vertical. Also, a very brave person, because as we later find out from his Q&As and his 20 years of hell, we know that he has had a very, very rough time, a harsh life with many issues, and he had to take breaks. And, I've heard various explanations that it wasn't just to have a break from the people, that it was to recenter himself so that he could face the next lot, that it was a challenge. So on that level, where Peter Criss has done this for years and interacted with the fans. Ace Frehley has done this for years, interacted with the fan. Bruce, Eric Singer, Tommy Thayer, Gene and Paul obviously do this on a daily basis. Gene and Paul can do it with their eyes shut and still come across as very gracious, humble, and everything. For a man who has not done that, to actually muster the courage, regardless of the possible payday, to actually have to do it is a completely different thing. That gives me a great deal of respect for him that he did so. So I do want to give kudos to Vinny. Yes, Derek brought him there, but Derek could not have pushed him through that door if he wanted to, if Vinny did not want to. And yes, I was at the restrooms and they had them all blocked off because Vinny was in there. And yeah, I walked back behind him and saw his little bag, and people were talking about his shoes. Well, just go back and look at some fucking. Look,
he wore the same shoes in '83.
Exactly.
Go same exact shoes
look
in '83.
at those pictures.
Same models.
Before you start mocking him about what he was wearing.
The exact same.
Totally.
Because that was the look, and who cares?
He's still wearing the same ones. So fucking what? It's so trite. It's so trivial. It's so pathetic.
Because some people want to see the Vinnie Vincent they came out in 1983 or 84. They want to see that Vinnie Vincent that was in the Lick It Up video.
Well, the
I got news for you. You look in the mirror, people. Do you look like in 1983, 84? Probably not.
No, so let's talk a little bit about the Expo Day because obviously our rant's going on quite a bit. You guys were gone all day. I did notice that. Obviously, I was busy. I had an insane day, an insane weekend. I do want to just take a moment to thank every single person who came by the KissFAQ booth, either to buy stuff.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Andy.
Thank you for the guys. I got you all three guys together to sign them for me.
You will be
Told
one of the very few people who got the artist as well. I put the sign up on the table saying Nils is in the house. Track him down, and you can get the artist autograph too. And Nils is really good sport about it. Look at that shit. I mean, that is just so fucking cool.
And I went chasing after all three of you. You better make sure you get over here. I want a damn picture, and I want you to sign it.
Yeah, collect them all. So I was busy. So many people came by, and I appreciate all the kind words, as does Tim, about the works that we've done, about the books that I've done separately. It means a hell of a lot to hear from you, to meet you, to shake your hand. I'm really fucking happy I brought the Elder backdrop because I got a lot of really cool photos of fans. Just like, here, get up against the wall. I want your picture. And that backdrop worked out ace. I mean, your and Kim photo, absolutely.
That's your background?
Yeah, that was the back of
I thought it might have been...
No. Look at the back of the Odyssey book. That's the art.
Oh, I you know what I mean? Like I said, I got there and I'm like, at that point, sometimes Lonnie's probably doing the same thing. When we finally actually walked into the place, we probably were like zombies walking around going, "Oh my god!"
I stood in line after you left for a couple more hours, but
that's what I mean. But it's like complete zombies, though. You know what I mean? We're complete zombies. And I have to say the same thing. I can't. I'm very good with faces, but I'm terrible with names. I can remember stuff from like 50 years ago. I'm not even 50 yet, but I can remember stuff, you know what I mean? But there was so many people that would come up to me and say, Andy, man, nice to meet you. I see you on the FAQ podcast. Can't wait to see you again, all this stuff. And I can't think enough people who come up to me and just say, thanks for, doing stuff and doing that, being on the FAQ podcast, doing stuff for the crew stuff. I mean, it's... I met so many great people over the weekend, and that's why I said it wasn't all about I want to say this is a bitch fest today. We did the bitch fest already, but in a way though, I had a freaking really great time.
Once you get in the room, and Lonnie, you were in line for 7 hours or something stupid, weren't you?
I got one more story about the line. Since
the guy who cut, right?
And Andy, I don't know if I told you this, but you left, and I'm in line still, and they get done with the pictures. So they're going to start moving the autograph lining.
I know this story.
And every so often, people come up and they go in. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then I'm getting close, and somebody comes up and goes, well, I got a VIP, I get a fast pass, and we're all like, you know what? There's no such thing as we were told there's no such thing as a fast pass. This is it. So he walks up there, talks to the guy in the front, schmoozes his way right on in, and I'm like, whoa, and I'm about 10 people from the door at this point, and I start holding up my badge, and he goes, what are you showing me? And I go, I'm showing you that I'm a VIP and I've been in line all freaking day. It's 3:30 now. And he goes, what am I supposed to do with that? I go, I was supposed to have a fast pass to get to the front of the line. We were told earlier that there was no such thing. Now people are walking in with them. Meanwhile, I've been in line all day. And he goes, well, if you have that, I guess you could go on in. And I said, you know what? Now you're telling me after I've been in line all day, yeah, you can go on in. And I said, no, I'm not going in, because my time is no more valuable than the rest of these people standing in line. And I've sat here and I've bonded with these people over the last God knows how many hours I've been in line. I'm not going to be a dick to them and say, well, see you later, guys. I'm going in while you continue to wait. So I continued to wait, got inside. I was a little boisterous towards the end because I had really had it at the end that this happened. And I got up to the front, and he was going to cut me off and make me wait till the next group. He goes, no, why don't you go ahead and go in and get me out of line, keep me from yelling and giving him a hard time. So I get done, and a couple people came up to me after I got done, and they said, you know what you did was really, really classy by not going in. I had a guy come up to me, he says, I'm from Argentina, and I moved to the United States of America. And what you did was true American class, and it makes me proud to be an American today. because what you did was really, really classy. That your time's no valuable than anybody else, and you're no better than anybody else. And you shook my hand and you thanked me again. I was like, that was really cool. And I wasn't trying to do it for, the people that pat me on the back, but it's just like, at this point, why bother going after I've sat there with these people for all freaking day? Yeah. So Vinny signs my things for Alex. You're welcome, Alex.
Oh, Alex, yeah.
And one thing for myself and one thing for my buddy Joe Odell. And at that point, I'm like, I gotta go and get my tattoo because I didn't think I'd be in line all day. I thought I'd be back from getting my tattoo by this point. And to eat because I'd been in line all day too, and I was about ready to fall over. So we left to go get something to eat, went and got my tattoo, waited to get the tattoo, got the tattoo. We're coming back, and we parked the car, walking back in the hotel, get up my phone, checking Facebook, and I'm like, oh, are you shitting me? Robert Fleischman got up on stage and sang with Vinny, and I missed it. I have to watch it on YouTube now because I stood in line all day.
Oh, boy.
So at least I didn't miss that part. I finally. You. Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. When you finally get in there, right? When we finally get in, and like I said, it was a lot of great moments meeting. People like the first time I ever met Julian, Lonnie, and we didn't even get a picture of the three of us together, which is even more bizarre because it must be a fate thing. I don't even believe in it, but we'll get together at some point again. Maybe Ken will show up sometime. Anyways, so it was like, and then when I walked in, I'm thinking, I started looking around at stuff, and it was, there were dealers there, but there weren't like a ton of dealers, but there was still people there, selling stuff. And, everybody says, oh, Spencer's crap. You can say what you want about Spencer's crap, but let's face it, man. Technically, there was more stuff that was mass-produced or produced for KISS from 1996 to 2000. Mm-hmm. Face it. Everybody's like, oh, I want 70s stuff. Well, guess what? They already produced, even though it says, oh, all this KISS stuff. Oh, yeah, KISS produced a bunch of massive stuff in the 70s. But it wasn't as massive as 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. There were way more products produced when the reunion happened. Point blank. And you could say some of that stuff is junk if you want. That's just crap. But some of that crap was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, some people like it. Fair is fair. In my corner of the world, obviously, I brought some vinyl this time. And my Chilean Alives went like that. Obviously, my prices were really freaking good. So even the stuff that did not sell, I'm still shaking my head at not being able to sell the Swedish Alive or the Brazilian ones at those fucking prices. You have got to be kidding me that those didn't go. But a lot of the cool stuff, the French copies went fast. The Dutch guys next to me, Arjen, had a fucking Kissery box set that I just kept looking at all day. I'm like, it's still there.
Yeah, you're right.
It's still. Are you fucking? It's like at that price, it's still there. It's not gone.
I saw the KISS. I saw a KISS Alive poster. The big ones. The 3 feet by 5 feet, whatever the hell they are. I got a ball. Yeah. I saw some guy had one for like $90, and then they had the other one, the Alive 2 one, for $130. And the guy had it on the table. I couldn't believe it. The guy had it on the table and then stretched over. I'm like, somebody's going to like really crinkle this thing. But I was surprised nobody bought them.
Yep.
I was shocked. I'm like, look at, you know what? I was shocked. I'm like, there were some 70s. There were some nice 70s. There was one to look around. Some guy I think the guy said he had the original Love Gun proof. The gun. The gun. He had like the proof.
Oh, wow.
Which is dead. He got it from somewhere. I mean, I don't know. Yes. And then somebody had the makeup kits that were going for like $800, $500, $800. There was some stuff that was a little bit out of price range, but it's like if you want to play. And there was some 70s stuff. But you got to understand, when I got in there was only X amount of 70s, so I don't know if there was more, ahead of time, But there was some 70s stuff there, which was kind of cool. But I always got to mention this to people, okay? My thought is that we're all in an age group from 40s, that most KISS fans are in their 40s, like majority from their 40s to their 60s, okay? And we're not dead. We're not dying. So we basically have hoarded all the stuff. You know what I mean? We've hoarded it all. So we're keeping it all for our collections, so we're not dumping it. You know what I mean? So we're in that age group, we're not dumping it because we still love it. You know, some people dump stuff because somebody's passed away, or they need really, or people that are really hard up and something happened to them in their lives and they need to sell stuff, or people are like getting out of the KISS thing. Well, I'm kind of done with it. I'm out of it. But for the majority of us, between that 40 and 60, we still love them. We collect it. We got it. We're not going to give it away. We're not going to give it away. We're keeping it. You know what I mean?
Whereas I'm one of those guys who's getting out of it. But that whole back corner, Ecuador, Singapore, the vinyl. I was impressed by the amount of vinyl. Tom Shannon and his lovely wife were there, and in addition to selling the Kiss My Wax books, had a good selection of vinyl, some really, really good stuff, priced very well. I mean, I'm stunned that a lot of the stuff simply didn't go. Who was next to them? Because Jason Herndon was also there from Kiss My Collectibles.
Jason, yeah.
That was fantastic to meet him. Andrew Scambatti, of course, I met him for the first time. He was doing the UD replica stuff, and I was so fucking impressed when they rolled those in.
Those were amazing.
Oh my goodness! No interest.
I would have bought a jacket from that company the other day. If they had the jean jacket, is one that says Kiss Army. It's half leather and half denim. I was looking for, because I live in New England. I don't even have a jacket all these years. I'm like, man, I never wear a jacket. I don't know what it is. Anyways, I would have bought one. All he had was the leather one. It's it says Kiss on the back with a thing on it. And it had the originals. I mean, I like the original off the original, but I don't know what it is. I don't wear a jacket. But I told the guy, I'm like, I'd buy one right off you right now. He goes, oh, it's somewhere shuffled underneath, and we actually don't sell stuff. We're just here showing. I was kind of taken back. Advertising. I was kind of like a little bit taken back by that. You could make a ton of money right now, but you're not going to sell it. I find that kind of odd. That's just my personal. Oh, yeah. And the Kiss Classic guys were there.
Were they cool as hell or what? I mean,
Yeah.
Obviously, they had the CDs, and I'm glad I've got one of these now. Very, very cool. Plus, the white face make it with the sunglasses, harkening back to Paul in 74, excuse me. Kiss Alive Forever, Kurt and Jeff. Selling the new book looks absolutely fantastic for Kiss Alive Forever. Absolutely sick. If you didn't get one, see if they're still available on the website or what's going on with that, because it's absolutely fantastic. And here was the fun part. I can't remember who it was that came up to me and said, we need you to moderate a couple of Q&As. And
I missed you. See, that's one of the things I missed. I missed that part of it.
You know what? Here we are. We're lucky. Alan Tate of the Ages of Rock podcast was kind enough to film the Q&A I did with Kurt and Jeff, and I had about 15 minutes to actually come up with some questions for those guys. I wanted to do some stuff that was a little bit different. I didn't know what everyone else's kind of familiarity with the Kiss Live Forever book is, but here was a high point of my day. Apart from meeting everyone and hanging out with friends, meeting people like you, Andy, who I've not met before, or Andrew, or Jason, or all those guys. So many people, so many fucking unbelievable. Was to be introduced by Eddie Trunk as that guy who's written books about Kiss, including Odyssey, which I'm going to cut in some of that video right now, because it was just, for an ego moment to actually get to go up on stage with Kurt and Jeff. And I've said it before, I will say it again, I will never stop saying it, that Kiss Alive Forever is the gold standard in touring history. What it said, it was a very high bar, and while I may do my on tour, I do mine a different way in going for the newspaper articles. To get up there and to get to ask them some questions for the crowd, I was nervous. I was freaking, leaving. I needed some kitty litter because, I'm not good in front of an audience, or I don't know if I am. I think I did okay, but it was just fun to get up there and ask some questions, and then they showed their video. And here's.
But I'm coming up in a little bit. I'd like to welcome to the stage right now a couple guys that have become friends over the last few years, because I've had them on my radio show so many times talking about their amazing book, Kiss Alive Forever, which they've done a special edition for, another run-up for the expo that they're selling back in the corner there. And if you guys know this book, it is absolutely essential reading for any KISS fan. It's one of those books you can just keep referencing and going back to. So many great statistics, so much great information in it. I really, really, truly enjoy it. And I've had Kurt Gooch on my show many times to talk about it. And also Jeff Suze has been on as well in the past. And I'd like to welcome both of those guys to the stage right now. Give it up for Kurt and Jeff. And also from KissFAQ, a man who's also made some tremendous books. I just got done reading the Elder book cover to cover. Julian Gill, everybody. And Julian is going to be doing the interview with the guys. I'm going to go back and get myself ready to come out and talk to you guys. I'll see you out here in like an hour. And oh, one other thing. When these guys are done with their interview, they're going to drop a screen. And Kurt has, this guy unearths the coolest footage anybody's ever seen. And he's got some promo footage, some KISS stuff that's going to be debuted for the first time on the screen in about however long they take to talk, so about a half an hour. So you do not want to miss that, and then I'll be up here a little bit after that. So, Jeff, Kurt, Julian, take it away, gentlemen.
Eddie Trunk, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for him. All right, Atlanta, you know what day today is? Paul Stanley's birthday. Can we get a round of applause for the Star Child? It's great looking out at all of you. Thank you to everyone who's come by the KissFAQ table. We appreciate it. Let's talk about Kiss Live Forever. Let's do it. You are Jeff. I am Jeff. And you are?
Kurt.
Hey guys, you first put out Kiss Live Forever in 2003. Jeff, what made you guys decide to do such a massive...
Never got to see that fucking video.
Well, I'm hoping that somebody makes a package. Somebody there with a really good video camera, like basically videoed everything through the whole afternoon, the whole thing, and makes a DVD. Because I'd buy one. I know a lot of people will probably buy. I want to buy one. If somebody, hopefully like the KISS Cruises, they make the packages, they sell it. I'm in. Because I miss stuff, like I said, it's a freaking fantastic. And it's, the only other problem is, I want to say a problem is that, you have the dealers and everybody around the edges, and then the people are speaking up on the stage. The echoing was a little tough for the people more in the background, in the back to hear what was going on. It's like one of those things that, that's kind of tough, but like I said, if it wasn't for the line thing and that other crap, it was off the hook. I'm telling you, it was wicked awesome. New England, say it, the wicked awesome, fantastic. It was one of the great expos in the last 15 or 20 years. I'm telling you. Because I said I've been to a lot of them through a lot of the years, and this was huge. It's definitely huge. I just very scary. If anybody's going to Nashville, I'd be a little bit spectacle, a little bit kind of on the teeter-tot of that whole VIP, the extra money. I'm hoping if they do one in Nashville, for anybody that goes, I'm hoping that Derek sees all the feedback about lining people up and doing the right thing that way. But as in...
Come on, he saw the feedback for New York and didn't do anything. Here's what I think they should be doing. Yeah. They have a PA system. They should be calling out numbers 1 to 25. Come and line up now. No one else line up. You will not be, do it in batches of 25 so that you have more manageable. Were you doing photographs or numbers? Blah blah. And you fucking announce it. You have the numbers written on the back of the laminates that you have to get in, and it's behind a security window so no one can diddle it. And you do it that way. You do not have full fucking lines. You know what? You take away the experience from people by having them in queue for 7 hours. They're not able to go hang out with friends. They're not able to go make new friends. They're not able to shop. They're not able to look, window shop. They're not able to listen to the Q&As. I mean, how many of you got to listen? Lonnie, did you get to hear the Big John Hart Q&A? Did you get
Absolutely
to hear?
Not.
Everyone heard Eddie Trunks because he was so fucking loud.
I never heard Eddie.
I didn't hear it.
You were probably out.
I missed Ron Keel. I never saw Ron Keel.
Ron Keel was
didn't hear
badass.
Ron.
Eddie's was very good as well, for that matter. He in my area of the room, I just found it so incredibly loud. It was like, turn it down to 11, would you please? I missed.
I also thought these were. You know what? I gave it to Derek on this. Whoever this was your if people that actually watch and just not here. You know, this was your thing for your photo ticket, which I thought was double. It's really thick, you know, like cardboardish kind of thing. It's not just a easy paper. I thought that was pretty cool, and I think this was a good idea too. He had a thing for the, you know, I was there. This is for your, you know, there's a, you know, ticket down here. They rip off for your signature. Really cool idea. It just needs some help, and I mean some help. You know, I had people come up to me, hey, Andy, man, you should be help running this. I said, you know what? There is absolutely no way that I would even volunteer to help, because I wouldn't want to be yelled at and screamed at all day from people and fans that what's going on, because this was told this, and then 2 minutes later this was told that. Because I would be like, no way, line, number, show me a number, line up. I don't want to hear your shit. You know, and like Lonnie said, when Lonnie was in line, Lonnie wouldn't feel like a dick about he had a VIP. At that point, like, he didn't want to cut the line, because now you have all these people looking at you going, that freaking asshole's cut the line.
Sure. You know, going back to what Julian said about, you know, having people come in like 25 at a time, you know, if you did that and say, okay, 1 through 25 line up, 26 through 50 line up. Oh, now we're going to take photos. So 51 through 75, don't bother lining up. Meanwhile, you got a guy like me who's been in line for 5 hours at that point. I'm like, I'm not moving, because, you know, I don't care if you're doing pictures for the next 2 hours. I'm not moving and losing my place. Because as bad as I had it, I'd turn around and look behind me, and it was insane behind me. So I'm like, I'm not moving.
Man,
so
it was some
just, you know, just some better organization as far as how you line people up, and keeping and trying to keep to a schedule, and not wasting people's whole days in line. Because as bad as I had it in line, people, as much as I'm sitting here complaining about how bad I had it in line, people behind me had it much worse in line and missed even more than what I did. So I really felt bad for some of the people behind me that were just, you know, that was their whole day. I don't think they.
I even took a walk once. I even took a walk once. You know that line that we were up there, Lonnie there, when they went up, and then they made everybody go down that way. And those people were actually coming around the corner going, because the line was moving, and then they actually saw what was going on. They were like, oh my God! I took a walk, and I'm like, these people have no idea what's going on.
I came out every, you know, once in a while to go hit the head, and, you know, I was just like, holy shit, you guys are fucked. I would have people coming in, and they're like, I've been in line. Do you have any copies of On Tour? I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sold out. Do you have any copies of Gap? I'm sorry, I'm sold out. Do you have any copies of Odyssey? I'm sorry, I'm sold out. And you know what? I felt like a fucking asshole. I was sold out of everything, and these poor people have been standing in line all fucking day, and they come in, and they're fried, man. I'm sorry. There was no other way to describe some of these faces that, you know, they're not having fun now. They're coming in, and it's just like, what have we just been through? We've been through emotional duress all day. Now I'm getting in, and I've been waiting to go to that guy's table, but I couldn't, because I had to take care of my spot, my Vinnie stuff first. I understand that. And instead, they get to you, and they probably went to other dealers or to meet people, you know, that come to my table. I'm sold out. I feel like a total ass. And there's nothing I can do.
And I feel bad, because we're on here now. We had a great... it's a double-edged sword. We had a great time. I can't believe Vinnie came out. We had a great time in ways. But then we turn around and have a crappy thing go on. But then we sound like a bunch of whining babies in ways, you know. But it's true. We're just trying to tell. I mean, the feedback might be good or bad, but I'm just trying to. We're just trying. Me personally, are just trying to inform people in a way what really happened. And this is the third time. This isn't the first time. This is the third time. And I was there when people actually walked up to Derek and said, Derek, you need help. Can we help you in any shape or way or form? And Derek just went, and he looked out, and the money kept coming. the stacks of money. You know, me personally, I love KISS. I love doing this stuff. I've done as much as I can do now. I would love to help people out, and I'm not in it for the money. I would have stood there and helped Lewis and helped whatever if somebody had some kind of form saying, okay, left is this, right is that, was going to stick to a thing. I would walk down the line, all the way down the line and say, hey, people, this is what's going on right now. I have no problem because, like I said, I know how hard it is, and I'm not even, like I said, I've done the cruise parties for now. This is going to be this year's another one down in Miami. All these years, I know how hard it is to set shit up, to deal with things, and everything else. I know how it is. You know, I feel bad for Derek in ways, but then I don't, because if you haven't learned from your past experiences, it's your fault. And now it's my fault. If I go to Tennessee and I do the same thing, and I do it, it's all my fault. Now it's my fault.
Hey, I want to pause right there because I do want to make sure we have Ken actually involved in the show. Ken, you know, what are the...
We love you, Ken. The voice of reason.
You know, I have to grab a beer.
I'm listening.
But
We need it.
But Ken, you know, what are some of the things that, as someone, you were going to come and do this, weren't you? You know, what are the sort of things that you want to know about the event? You know, from those of us who were there that you haven't already heard. You know, let me grab a beer while you ask the boys some questions. I recommend you ask Lonnie the question first.
Yeah, keep me out.
Yeah. Well, the thing that struck me, I mean, I heard the Eddie Trunk, obviously, you know, shortly after he did that interview, it was like right short after there was already a recording of it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I just thought, you know, what was going on? First, I did notice in those interviews, and maybe it was just all days, that Vinnie and Paul, there was nothing there ever. Where he said Paul never wanted him in the band, which was
Mean Mr. Mustard.
From the beginning, and yeah, the Mean Mr. Mustard, that's not going to go away. That's it now. That's going to be used all the time. The other thing, so that I thought that was kind of interesting, but it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't surprise me what he said. So, and then what's the deal? You know, there was a little shock when I first saw Vinnie. Like you said, you know, Andy, it's that first shock. You're like, because it's been 20 years, but you see him it's like, what? Oh wow, you know. But then it's like, okay, fine, you know. Another minute later, it's like, okay, I'm cool, you know. And then the other thing is, now this kind of leads to where I think Vinnie was really, or is living through some hard times still. Because his outfit, you know, the pantsuit, that deal stuff, the shirt, I want to say he wore that maybe all 3 days, or else he has a copy of them, like KISS costumes. I think it's the same outfit every day, and maybe it's because they can't afford, you know, the stuff, or I don't know. You know,
Friday was a dark blue. Saturday was black. I don't even know what he did Sunday.
Sunday was black also.
Okay, so they were all the same style, but just the shade was different. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
people took some pictures, and even on Friday it looked purplish because the way the lights were in the background. But it was definitely a dark blue, and it was definitely black on Saturday.
And I don't even want to call it a pantsuit because, you know, it was baggy. And, you know, even though it's obvious Vinnie has put on some weight, I am nearly certain that he was wearing bulletproof gear, you know, that really did add to...
I think so, too.
I am nearly sure of it.
I saw...
When his body moved, there was one point where you could see a line across the top of his chest appear... You know,
right.
Unless he was strapping down.
I think so. I think Julian's.
You know 100%. What? This is a man who again, from what I've heard, and I haven't heard anything out of this past weekend. I've heard things previous that, he's lived in mortal fear, in the post-Dimebag era because of this fucking Archives box set and some of the nasty shit that was written online by people who were really, really, come on, it was money. I've said it before. The $100 then is $100 now, and not one of us is going to sit there and light one up and say $100 big deal, doesn't mean nothing. It's a lot of money. Then and now, that he knows he fucked up in that situation, even though he tried to blow it off in the Q&A section, that just the the tsunami of the court case and all that, he tried to play it off, but he does recognize that. And Lonnie, I mean, what's your take on kind of that whole situation?
To Vinny's credit, in regard to the box set, I was sitting there with Joe, who's been on the show a few times, and Derek asked him the question about the box set, and and you've probably seen the interviews, the Q&A online, and when he asked him the question about the box set, he goes, I just want to thank everyone for being here today. And we both thought, he's going to dodge it. He's not going to answer the question about the box set. And Derek, and then he didn't, and then Derek goes, well, do you want to wrap this up, and you guys want to, you guys want to get your autographs and some pictures taken? And everybody's like, yeah. And Vinny goes, well, hold on a second. I never did answer that question about the box set. And he went back to it. And I thought that was really, really classy. Whether you bought his explanation or not, whether you liked his explanation or not, whether you bought a box set or not, whether you had a stake in it or not, I thought it was really, really classy that he went back to that and addressed that on his own. Because at that point, they were wrapping up. And he didn't have to say, oh, wait a minute, I never answered the question about the box set. I thought that was really, really classy on his part. But I'm definitely with Julian that I think he was wearing something underneath as far as Kevlar goes. And I had heard, too, that there was a lot of security around, especially when Vinny came on stage. There were a lot of armed guards all around that stage. And I had heard that, he had reservations about it for obvious reasons. He was wearing Kevlar. He was scared for himself. So, to his credit, though, he came out and did it as scared as he might have been. So I really have to give.
And then on Sunday, he's sitting on the edge of the stage. On Sunday, he was relaxed.
On Sunday, he just sat on the lip of the stage.
He's just,
I saw that.
Very relaxed.
Just feet. I mean, I freaked out at one point. I was very concerned when Jonathan hopped up right in front of Vinny and said, hey, it's, Vinnie Vincent. And Vinny was a little bit taken back for a second, looking nervous. And, the guards, tense. I was like, Jonathan, not good choice, buddy. But, everything was cool. Once, Vinny realized it was someone, telling the crowd, come on, Vinny. The smile came back to his face, and it was good. I think we gave him...
Maybe that's why he kept moving the jacket all the time. The jacket he was wearing, once in a while would move, and he kept, if you really watch closely, he kept moving the jacket, making sure that it was covered. So, maybe to save himself. And you could see when he was talking
before, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world.
No,
and when he's talking in the microphone, if you really watch, when he's talking in the microphone,
his arm.
Because Kim even noticed it when he's talking in the microphone. His other hand was always going like this. So you could see the nervousness in him. He was nervous. So I don't blame the guy. I don't blame the guy being that nervous. The way the world is nowadays.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. But going back to that box set thing, now that he said he's sorry and the whole deal and whatever happens, but he's going to have to now back up what he's said he's going to do, and hopefully he follows through with finishing off the box set and giving these people who did put their money, paid for this thing, they're going to get 2 copies. Right, that's what he said, and special gift from his collection or whatever personal stuff. I hope it all happens.
I hope that all comes true.
Jesus, I mean, a gift, a handwritten note. Dear so-and-so, I'm so sorry about what happened in 1997. Please find enclosed your 2 free. Love, Vinnie Vincent. Star. Beautiful autograph.
Awesome.
That'd be
You know,
great.
there's
That
your,
works.
There's your gift, and then for the people like me who didn't buy it back then, here's your
Yeah.
box set. Thank you so much. Here's your
Buy a
gift.
new box set.
Yeah.
Yeah. New customer.
Being there in the moment that Vinnie Vincent picked up an acoustic guitar and played a melancholy, mournful version of Tears.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just him being on the stage, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I kind of, everybody kind of figured he might do something. You know what I mean? When it actually happened, and then everybody's like, Robert Fleshman, and then Robert didn't actually come out at first for a while, and then and then all of a sudden, oh my God, here it comes. He starts playing,
And
And
he was so apologetic about it. For me, as a fan, I would actually pay a lot of money to get 2 cassette tapes back. And they're the Singapore issues of Peter Criss is Out of Control and Let Me Rock You. That was my first introduction to Tears. I loved that song when I first heard it by Peter Criss. I loved that song when I first heard the demo years later with Vinnie singing it. I love that song to this day. I've never heard John Waite's version, by the way, and nor do I want to. But those 2 Kiss guys doing it, particularly Vinnie, when he did that, a little reinterpretation, and you weren't there. You had to watch it on...
I had to watch it on YouTube.
Oh
my God.
But
I watched it Sunday
that
morning.
moment, I was sitting there, and I was having kittens, because...
the crowd was just like in awe.
I had hoped...
Absolutely in shock.
I had hoped
Everybody,
he would pick
you
up the
could hear
guitar.
a pin drop in that place when they brought out they brought out the guitar and put on his lap. You could see everybody go,
Yeah.
hey, this is going to happen. He's actually going to play.
He's gonna fucking play, and he's gonna play acoustic. Is the part that blew my mind, because
Yep.
I someone did have a pink V, by the way, a Randy
Yeah.
Rhoads
Yep.
one. But when I saw it was an acoustic, I'm like, what the fuck are we about to experience here? Because when you think of Vinnie, you think Invasion or EP Euphoria, over the top playing. What is he going to do? And he was on, I know he'd rehearsed in back, and he must have had an inkling and have worked on things. But it's a totally different thing for a guy who has not performed live in front of an audience in over 20 years to actually come out there and do it while wearing possibly body armor, to do it. And those first chords and his voice was absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely brilliant. And then he goes into a bit of Million to One. If I could pick one Kiss song for Vinnie to do, what have I fucking said? I think I'm on a show somewhere saying, I would love to hear a demo of Vinnie doing A Million to One. Second song up, Vinnie doing a
And
Million to
he
One.
said he's not a singer. He said
is,
it.
He is a singer.
I thought it was great.
No, but I'm saying though. But Vinny, after the first Tears, after that, he says, "Hey, I'm not a singer. This is, I write music, I play. I'm not really a singer.
I would pay and I would fly to see
It was
Vinny
awesome.
sitting on a fucking bar stool. Would it top my Peter Criss moment at the last Peter Criss concert? No, but it would be fucking cool. And then he goes into some chords for That Time of Year. And at that time, I'm just fucking, having a seizure because it's just so unexpected. But that moment where
And you could hear the pin drop when he's playing. You could hear a pin drop when he started playing. And as soon as he got done, everybody did the and they get up and the clapping and the cheering and literally, it was just a love fest.
Yeah,
period.
If ever he needed some medicine, then how about the reaction from the crowd when he did Back on the Streets? And Robert Fleischman. Again, I said this all weekend because, I interacted with Robert a tiny bit, mostly in the bar afterwards. But Robert, I saw walking around. He is one of the coolest motherfuckers ever.
He knows it, too.
Go onto YouTube.
He's awesome.
Check out The Sky. The guy can fucking sing. I've been hanging out on YouTube watching and listening to a whole bunch of Robert's music, catching back up with him as a solo artist. I used to own his, solo album from '79. I think it was on Arista. I can't remember. The demo of Wheel in the Sky, later recorded by Journey, which most people, I was playing it. I liked it on YouTube today, so most people see the link on my Facebook. The guy can fucking sing. When he came up and he scooched Vinnie over on that seat, and they're just sitting together, and it was just so organic and natural. It was such a wonderful moment. Again, Andy said about these moments of history, to be there when Robert Fleischman and Vinnie Vincent perform for the very first fucking time together, even just for a few minutes. That breaks down. Oh my goodness!
I get chills you just saying that right now.
That look on Vinny's face when he saw Robert sitting there next to him.
That look on Robert's face as well when he was.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I mean, pure joy on both of their faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the funniest thing is when the funniest part about it was when they said they gave Vinny the guitar and he started playing and they're like, Robert's gonna come out, and he didn't right away. It's like it was like a big, like it took another 2 songs and then all of a sudden it happened. Everybody's just like, is this really happening? It's just,
But it would not have been appropriate on Tears. It would not have been appropriate on 1,000,000 or that time of year. What the fuck? No. On the Invasion album, it was a duet by the two. So it was perfect. The moment he did it, started doing Back on the Streets, you could almost feel that Robert was going to end up on that stage. If he was, I didn't even know if he was still in the room at that point. So again, the timing is everything. That he went up there. And just to see those two, finally, I do hope they have a talk. I don't need them to talk about Invasion. I want them to talk about Robert and Vinny, the voice and the guitar. Vinny can still play. That was obvious by how he was playing that guitar. He needs practice, working with a singer and working with an audience, without a doubt. I've totally decided I do not need Vinny to ever strap on an electric guitar again. If I can get a performance of him playing his favorite material on an acoustic with Fleischman singing it, and that includes stuff off All Systems Go, all back through both of their catalogs, I would fucking pay for that just to see those two.
Well, like Vinny said, and they said, how about it, like an Invasion reunion? Everybody's like, "Are you kidding me?" And then Vinny says, "This should have happened." Robert should have been
the way it should have always been.
Should have always been. Mark Slaughterhead should have never been the singer.
See, that's the one thing I had the most problem with is the denigrating of Mark. There is far more to that story, and we've heard many of the other sides of that. So let's be, I want to be very careful not to fall into that kind of honey trap. No. As exciting as it was to see Robert and Vinny back together, I don't want to see Mark denigrated in any way, because I love All Systems Go. I love Slaughter. I love Mark Slaughter's solo work. He's a great voice. He was a great. He was a great voice for the Invasion, but Vinny wouldn't even say his name and denigrated his talent, and that is one thing that I really did disagree with. That I wish Vinny had taken a little bit more time, maybe, to think about what he felt about Mark, and maybe thought, well, that's not quite the right way to say it, because people are going to say, Mark Slaughter has done nothing wrong in this situation. He came into a situation and made the most of it. Yeah, he got a lot out of it. Chrysalis dumped Vinny. We know that there's way more to that story than what Vinny said, and maybe Vinny's got to protect himself and his mind, and that's fine. Again, like he said, it's his version of the truth. You can take it or you can leave it, and he's fine with either. I happen to believe fully that, there's always three sides to the story. There's one person's truth, the other person's truth, and then there in the middle, there is the truth. So that for me is the most uncomfortable part of this weekend, is kind of how he handled Mark. I don't remember him ever saying Dana's name either. Maybe I just missed it.
No. Didn't say Dana or Bobby. Didn't mention any of them.
Dana was a very important part of the Invasion, and when you read back through the interviews, the role he played in the production, in the arranging, Dana is a fucking pretty smart guy, and musically what he's contributed to so much of the music that we listen to, going right back to Ozzy and how that fucking band kind of happened. Dana, you can either like him or not as kind of in the Nikki Sixx, Gene Simmons bass player role, but he's a smart guy, and he's savvy.
Yeah.
Bobby Rock,
But
fantastic drummer. Again, Mark Slaughter, great vocalist. It was nice so that Robert is there, and Vinnie really appreciated him and had nothing but good things to say about Robert. So, I'll take that as a plus. I don't think Mark Slaughter's in any rush to be part of the invasion again anyway. He doesn't need to. He can play Up All Night, The Wild Side, any of those numerous Slaughter hits, and be quite happy with where his career arc went. It'll
be interesting to see what happens when they go to Nashville, and when he finally gives a date and who's going to be there. It'll be interesting to see what's really going to be there and who's going to be there for the Nashville thing.
Well, here you go with one other of the lessons that you can learn from Peter Criss: forgive to live. Vinnie, make peace with your past. And I would say, if you do an expo in Nashville and Mark is around, bring him up, give him a hug, thank him, and move on. If nothing else, you have to let it go. Sure, you don't like what happened, but it happened. You can't erase it. It's just a horrible thing. That I think it could be a better expo in Nashville with so many of those guys living out that way, particularly Mark. But then again, I'm not Vinnie fucking Vincent, and I don't know exactly what he feels about the whole situation. He did get royally fucked.
Maybe, Let's put it this way: even without Vinnie being in KISS, his personal life was just from what you've read in newspapers or legal stuff you can find up. That guy's has had a crazy life. Even, the two wives, are no longer. Sorry, Ken. The two wives are no longer here anymore, and basically, you can look up personal stuff on Vinnie's wives and what's happened to them. One got murdered. Well, one was an escort at one point because they needed to make extra money.
No, she needed to make money. Period.
They lived in.
She was raising two daughters on her own and needed to make money. And it is nearly 20 years ago to the day that this expo took place that she was found murdered. So it's a very poignant time to think of Vinnie's past. He wasn't around for that. Yeah.
And he lived in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and there is is not the greatest of areas either. So, Vinnie's just personal life without being even in KISS was a tough life. He explained the dog things.
No, he didn't.
People are like, oh my God, you know what? I got news for you. If Vinnie, as Vinnie said, he videotaped his second wife in a tantrums all the time. Being drunk and being, when you're an addict. When you're, let's face it, you're an addict, man. You're a whole different person. You're totally out of it. So like he said, he videotaped her in case he needed it at some point, basically because she thought she was going to kill him.
So that's what he says, but he wouldn't even say her name, and she's dead. No. She died, and I found that a bit harsh. But maybe he can't deal with it. Ken,
but he also was proving he's not guilty. So if he's proved in a court of law and everything is dropped, then he's not guilty. He's right. End of story.
Yep.
So the story is no story in the long run.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about the story in any way because none of us are in the know, and Vinnie's still able to make public appearances, and he did the anger management course that he was supposed to do by court order. So that's a non-issue for me. That is history. Let's turn the page here. I want to wrap this up because we're over the 2-hour mark, and I want us to turn the page for Vinnie Vincent, and say that we have moved to a new chapter that hopefully involves Vinnie maybe making some music, being a little bit more at least accessible. He's a very private man, and I think as KISS fans, we're going to have to respect that and stop, stalking him cyber-wise or otherwise. I will never ask the man for an interview. I could get word to them quite easily. I still have that 27-page interview that I sent off one year that came back. as much as I would love to have many of my questions answered, I'm going to respect his space going forward because he's come out and he's given some answers. Yeah, the dog stories to me don't make any sense whatsoever. That's fine. They don't need to. He has addressed them his way. The whole thing with the dog story was I actually went out and for a good long while out of the Q&A, I came back and he's still talking about the dogs? Shit. It was one of those moments for me. He addressed an awful lot of things. All the Q&As are up on YouTube from the first night, the VIP, the very, very long one that he did on the actual expo night, which was absolutely insane. He really answered a lot of things, some very interesting things that can't be questioned in any way about his history, which I found fascinating, very, very interesting. And then now the third night, and I actually hung around on that Sunday, and I was just like a fly on a wall down there. And I'm glad I was, because I got to hang out with some really cool people and do some photo sessions with a couple of people that are kind of important to me to have met that weekend. So, I'm going to leave this question to everyone as we close out this episode. If you went to the expo, what was your high point? What was the thing that you enjoyed the most? And other than being in line all day, because we're going to leave that out because it was shit and there's no way around it. What was your low point? What was the thing that did not meet expectations? Forget the lines. Again, you got to be able to step away from that shit. What was it that really did not work? And I want to have some feedback to give Derek. If he's going to go into Nashville and do this again with Vinnie, there has got to be a better way, not only for the fans, but for Vinnie. You have to take care of the guy and make sure that he's comfortable and happy through it all. But you have to respect the people who are paying an awful lot of money, because people will fly in. They will be traveling again. And you cannot treat them like shit. That's wrong. Regardless of them throwing money at you all weekend long, Derek. Money's nice, but so is reputation. So, let's leave that there. Again, I would like to give a massive shout out to Tim McFate, who hung at the table the whole weekend to sign, to help me out, to Lonnie and Becky, who did the same. Very, very much appreciated, especially the endless supply of Yinglings, which are far too drinkable. You guys were awesome. To everyone I met, all the podcast guys, Steve from Growing Up Rock, Joe, Jody, Tom Shannon, Jason,
Chris,
Andrew, Chris, Decibel Geek,
the guy who fell in the bar, forgot his name, in the chair, he was hanging around with you on Saturday, fell backwards, the wrestler.
Oh, he was a delight.
Yeah, if you check out the Rhino video that they put together from the LA, they put an ad together. He is actually and he had his Polaroid thing that he printed out a picture right then and there of the Vinnie and Robert Fleischman that I then took into the bar and got Robert to autograph. That was so fucking cool. I mean,
he's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's in that Rhino video, and he really, really speaks well of the experience. Gabrielle, who's in LA at the same time, and I never met him that day. And I think I interacted with just about everyone who was there. So, that's just a few people. Tommy Summers, Mark Cicchini, great to see you guys again.
I want to thank everybody too, man. I can't, like I said, if it wasn't for the line stuff, other than that, off the hook. Had a wicked awesome time, as we say here in New England.
Yeah. It was one of the best KISS experiences I've had in a really, really long time, even though I sat here and complained about the line, because it was insane.
And if
we were there,
it was one of the best KISS weekends and best KISS experiences I've had in a long time. And I've been to a lot of expos. I've been to a lot of shows. I've done the KISS cruise. I've done the Vegas. Look at you.
Thank you, Julian.
Andy, I did not put it up on eBay. I sent it to my friend. So, like I said, let's wrap this one up. It was, I've said this before. I've said it to people. It was a tribal communion. We were worshiping at the altar of the Ankh warrior, and it was, in that sense, fucking awesome. And I can't wait until the next time I get together with fellow fans, just to be KISS maniacs in a bar, in a expo, just together celebrating the band that we love. So, from Lonnie, from Andy, from Ken, Silent Ken, and myself, we thank you for listening.
Poor Ken.
And we will see you next time.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Now you don't have to watch the episode. You got to listen to it live.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Can't get a button, so he's all set.
Yeah, and don't sell shit on
buy it on
eBay
eBay.
that you get for free from Andy. That is really
I
tacky.
saw that and I was like, I want to just punch somebody.
All right. See you next time, guys. Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.